Hello, 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 chat. We are live with the tie breaks of the finale of the Women's World Cup, and you can see Humpy closing her eyes, meditating right now. And 2 minutes pehle, I think we saw Divya also meditate, and you can see both of them close their eyes. It's all about the goal now. It's all about winning first. मेरा माइक आज भी थोड़ा लूज है बट ओके विनिंग द फर्स्ट प्लेस दैट इज द गोल और कुछ भी मैटर नहीं करता है प्रोड्यूसर साहब लगा दो भाई बोर्ड ऊपर लेट्स बी रेडी फॉर द गेम्स टू बिगिन एंड टाई ब्रेक होने वाला है आज एंड 2 गेम्स इन टोटल होंगी सो इट्स गोइंग टू बी अ सिंपल मैचअप 15+10 2 गेम्स जो 1.5 स्कोर करेगा ही विल बी द विनर कोई कल नहीं है कोई मोर राउंड्स नहीं नो एक्स्ट्रा गेम्स दिस इज इट दिस इज इट दिस इज फाइनल चैट अपने सपोर्टर का नाम लिख दो इज इट हम्पी इज इट दिव्या हु आर यू सपोर्टिंग अपने प्लेयर का नाम स्पैम कर दो वी कैन स्टिल सी हम्पी क्लोजिंग हर आइज कितना टाइम हो गया भाई लिटरली 2 मिनट से हर आइज आर क्लोज्ड दैट्स हाउ नर्व रैकिंग दिस इज शी इज ट्राइंग टू काम हरसेल्फ इन कॉन्ट्रास्ट दिव्या बोर्ड की तरफ देख के मूव्स देख रही है कौन सी ओपनिंग देखने वाली है एंड ऑफ कोर्स दिव्या हैज व्हाइट इन द फर्स्ट गेम सो इफ शी कैन गेट द फर्स्ट ब्लो तो बहुत क्रेजी होगा थैंक्स अ लॉट टू FIDE फॉर शेयरिंग द कैम्स with us for this round very important tie breaks round and Divya looks a bit confused सोच रही है कि क्या चल रहा है भाई ये सीन गेम चालू करो यार साहज ग्रोवर भाई उनका आज गेम खुद का गेम है तो वो अपना वहां से जीएम नाम करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं तो मीनवाइल इट्स जस्ट मी फॉर नाउ बट ठीक है आई थिंक वी हैव द कैमरास दैट विल रियली हेल्प एंड 15+10 क्लॉक पे लिख रहा है चैट टेयर गेस कौन सी होगी फर्स्ट मूव D4 E4 C4 क्या लग रहा है सपोर्टिंग इंडिया भाई इंडिया तो है ही भाई यहां कौन सा हम इंडोनेशिया को सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं बट आई थिंक एज ऑफ नाउ आई थिंक इट्स वेरी ऑब्वियस कि गोल्ड अपने घर पे ही आने वाला है बट किसके घर पे डू यू वांट दिव्या टू विन गेट हर जीएम टाइटल राइट नाउ डू यू वांट हम्पी टू विन द शी इज बीन डूइंग फॉर सो मेनी इयर्स गेट दैट गोल्ड मेडल दोनों के लिए इट इज वेरी वेरी वैल्यूएबल बोथ आर इन द कैंडिडेट्स बट क्या गोल्ड लेके जाएंगे देयर इट इज हैंडशेक्स द गेम्स बिगिन एंड दिव्या प्लेस पॉन टू E4 मतलब थ्योरी बहुत अच्छे से याद करके आई है पॉन टू E5 गेम्स ही बहुत जल्दी होंगी नाइट FC नाइट ओ पेट्र ऑफ डिफेंस बाय हम्पी मतलब शी इज गोइंग फॉर अ ड्रॉय सेटअप हियर नाइट टेक्स E5 यूजुअली यहां पे क्वीन साइड कैसल का प्लान बहुत डेडली रहता है व्हाइट के लिए D6 नाइट F3 नाइट टेक्स E4 विल सून बी ऑन द बोर्ड I think knight C3 is my choice usually, but Divya goes for D4. यहाँ पे D5 in the center, old male line, Bishop. यहाँ पे विशी सर की बहुत सारी इंटरेस्टिंग ओपनिंग गेम्स हैं. If you ever analyze them, Bishop D3 आएगा, Bishop यहाँ पे B4 चेक भी आता है, Bishop E7, Bishop D6. ये Bishop की कोई ना कोई चाल अभी आने वाली है. Also C6 sometimes is possible, but I think White wants to castle, Black wants to castle. तो Bishop को मूव करना बहुत बहुत जरूरी. जब तक विनर ना आए तो खेलते रहेंगे बिल्कुल बट आई थिंक यूजुअली क्या होता है ना रैपिड सेक्शन में ऑटोमेटिकली गलतियां बहुत ज्यादा होती हैं दैट इज जस्ट कॉमन टू चेस सो वेरी वेरी लाइकली वी विल सी सम मिस्टेक्स फ्रॉम बोथ प्लेयर्स एंड मिस्टेक्स होंगी तो मतलब वी विल फिनिश द गेम इन द मैच इन 2 games they keep playing target and oh let's see कितने गेम्स खेलेंगे बाद Bishop 5 खेला हम्पी ने but that is not the most logical move and castles by Divya played very quickly castles आया Bishop यहाँ पे E7 maybe I can see right now yeah Bishop E7 and now Humpy is preparing castling let's go full screen सारे भाई I think पूरा फोकस पे प्लेस रखते हैं एंड टाइम देखो भाई दोनों प्लेयर का टाइम बढ़ चुका है क्लॉक के ऊपर दे आर प्लेइंग वेरी वेरी क्विकली दिव्या थोड़ी रश लग रही है पता क्या है द थिंग इज they know कि स्टार्टिंग में टाइम एडवांटेज का बिल्डअप होगी ना दैट विल बी अमेजिंग सो फॉर नाउ आई फील कि C4 के बाद आई थिंक पॉन टू C6 यूजुअली सही होता है कई बार D-Tech C4 इज ऑल्सो एन ऑप्शन इनफैक्ट C6 से ज्यादा D-Tech C4 इज द प्रेफरेंस ऑफ द इंजन बट नॉट यूजुअली व्हाट यू प्ले बिकॉज सेंटर दे रहे हो अपना यहाँ पे बट इट डिस्ट्रैक्ट्स द बिशप इनफ कि मैं अपने नाइट को अनपिन कर पाऊंगा फॉर अ मूव देखिए जब तक विनर ना आए तो खेलते रहेंगे बिल्कुल चैट स्ट्रीम लाइक कर दो भाई एंड जितने भी लोग चैट में एक बार हाई लिख दो आई वांट टू सी कितने लोग चैट में घूम रहे हैं भाई कितने लोग हैं एंड फिलहाल के लिए she takes on C4 the best move according to the engines and Bishop takes C4 instantly played by Divya Deshmukh and ये Bishop यहाँ F7 की तरफ देख रहा है Knight coming to E5 so जल्दी से हम्पी को कैसल कर देना चाहिए and indeed she does that quickly कैसल होता है दोनों किंग सेफ हो चुके हैं now I think Rook E1 most logical move attacking the knight and threatening Bishop D3 next which is not an easy move to face because knight is still pinned बाप रे बाप क्या होगा यहाँ पे. हम्पी फीलिंग सम प्रेशर राइट नाउ. सुपर इंपॉर्टेंट मोमेंट फॉर इंडियन चेस. This is it. This is what we've been waiting for the last month. Who do you think has advantage in rapid? I'm going to say Humpy has the advantage of experience. She's done this, won this multiple times. But Divya might have the advantage of preparation and having putting in more effort into her openings. So if Divya opening se advantage leti hai, I think Divya will have a greater chance. But if we go raw, without any advantage, 20, 30 moves in, then I think Humpy's experience might count for a lot. So बहुत important है यहाँ पे. Ooh. And फिलहाल के लिए Humpy is better. Let's see what happens. As of now, I don't think Humpy is better. The point is, knight takes c3 मारोगे यहाँ पे, then pawn takes, and knight d6 also a great move. Bishop पे attack किया. Now bishop can come back all the way to f1. Maybe that's a decent square. Oh, bishop d5. So keeping an eye on this knight pawns double करने का option यहाँ पे दिव्या रख रही है. She can take on c6 here, but I think बिशप d5 के बाद द बिशप इज ऑल्सो काइंड ऑफ स्टक राइट. व्हाट इफ नाइट b4? मुझे दोबारा बिशप को चलना पड़ेगा वापस. आई डोंट थिंक आई कैन टेक ऑन b7. या नाइट b4 बिशप b3 वापस इंस्टेंटली प्लेड बाय दिव्या देयर. प्रग बाहर हो गया या प्रग बाहर हो चुका है ईडब्ल्यूसी से. एंड मीनवाइल हम्पी हैविंग हर फर्स्ट लॉन्ग थिंक. Very interesting, very interesting. By the way, Rakesh Bhai is also joining us in 2 minutes. That is amazing. Oh, okay. Going back to the stream now. So now, chat, you can see a 3 minute difference, right? अगर हम clock पे ध्यान दें, 3 minute है हम्पी यहाँ पे almost, and that is a lot of time. That's what I was talking about. Opening में Divya has to gather as many advantages as she can. That is what she has to do. राकेश भाई, welcome, welcome, welcome.
यो तेगो भाई, क्या हाल है? सुपर एक्साइटिंग. वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल्स का टाई ब्रेक्स है.
बिल्कुल. एंड एक सिंगल जब भी सेटअप हो जाएगा सीन, वुड लव टू सी राकेश भाई आल्सो, समय भाई, बट फिलहाल के लिए फुल स्क्रीन इज परफेक्ट. नाइट सिट्स ऑन d3.
Yeah,
राकेश भाई, यूजुअली दैट्स अ रेड फ्लैग फॉर द व्हाइट पीसेस.
absolutely. It is very uncommon to see this, or it's kind of like cameras for our finals today, टिकू भाई. तो क्या ही बढ़िया जादू किया आपने, that we have the wonderful footage live from Georgia.
भाई जादू तो अवध भाई ने किया है. एंड थैंक्स टू फिडे फॉर दिस. मीनवाइल रुक c1, दिव्या
Yeah.
हैज डेवलप्ड बोथ हर रुक्स. एंड द पॉइंट इज राकेश भाई की आई हैव लॉस्ट द
Mhm.
बिशप पेयर नाउ. I have a isolated pass pawn. So long term, if Divya cannot create any chances, I think 20 moves in, Humpy automatically might have the better position. You can already imagine, yeah, knight barely holding on to the bishop g5 threat, and black ke bishops बहुत ही बढ़िया लग रहे हैं. I would even bet and say Humpy has the better chances right now.
Yeah, for sure. Double bishop advantage or d4 का pawn भी is like isolated queen pawn. तो black definitely in the driver's seat. I think Humpy will be very happy कि ये opening कैसा गया. And chat remind करना चाहूंगा, this is a मतलब 2 game uh, rapid playoff, correct?
Yeah, 2 game rapid playoff, and basically आपको
So
15+10 का टाइम कंट्रोल है. c6 played by
mhm.
Humpy, so she kind of solidifies her center. यहाँ पे knight d5 idea possible नहीं है to get black's bishop then, and now white has to decide where do I move the queen. राकेश भाई, maybe queen e2 is possible, trying to attack the bishop. Then इस रुक को हम d1 लाके d5 ब्रेक अगर सही टाइम पे होता ना, when black is forced to take, then I think that solves many of her problems.
या अगर ये पॉन एक्सचेंज हो जाए, गेम ड्रॉ की तरफ जा सकता है साहिल. और आई थिंक दिव्या माइट बी होपिंग फॉर दैट साहिल, बिकॉज इट रियली हेल्प्स हर टू इक्वलाइज दिस. 2 game मिनी मैच में यू डू नॉट वांट टू गो बिहाइंड विथ वाइट इन
Yeah.
गेम 1.
या एब्सोल्युटली अग्री. एंड मीनवाइल यहाँ पे हम देख रहे हैं क्वीन ई टू. बिल्कुल, दैट इज अ वेरी लॉजिकल मूव दिप्तेन भाई. एंड दिव्या एंड हम्पी. ओके राकेश भाई, हु लुक्स मोर टेंस्ड हियर बोथ प्लेयर्स में? हु लुक्स मोर नर्वस?
don't think anybody is more nervous, but अगर कोई ज्यादा confident या जो ज्यादा relaxed लग रहा है, I would say that would be Humpy.
Hmm.
Because
I
she's
agree.
been there, done that. She's been doing this for so many years. Though women's world rapid titles है उनके पास, so just over and so much at stake. If Divya wins this, she also becomes a grandmaster. Women's World Cup title के अलावा, so lot of things riding on this game.
Absolutely, GM title के लिए कितना, and she has only one norm, वो भी इसी इवेंट में आया राकेश भाई. So imagine like दो norms करने की जरूरत नहीं है. She's already crossed the rating barrier also. So fully deserved. ऐसा
Yeah,
नहीं है मेरी तरह की rating 2200 and then तुक्के से बन गया. Like she's fully deserving. In fact, I would say how well she's played. Like she's played at a 2600 performance maybe already. तभी तो GM नाम मिला राकेश भाई. That's how well she's played here.
yeah, absolutely, and very well deserved title if she gets there. But Sahil, I don't see an easy way for White to convert this. In fact, Divya has to be careful here. Queen E2, like you suggested, काफी interesting idea है. But एक ही बात अच्छा है साहिल कि she has more time on the clock than Humpy.
या एंड अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम 2 मिनट्स यहाँ बहुत है. साहज भाई खुद एक टूर्नामेंट खेल रहे हैं. हेयर स्टाइल अलग लग रहा है. अलग छोड़ो, अच्छा लग रहा है कि खराब लग रहा है ये बताओ भाई. एंड क्योंकि भाई एक्चुअली मैं नींद से लेट उठा, आई हैव नॉट स्लेप्ट फॉर 3 days, तो मस्त नींद आई है राकेश भाई आज तो यार, आज जाके फाइनली.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल ई स्पोर्ट्स वर्ल्ड कप के वियर्ड टाइम जोन के बाद फाइनली वी आर बैक एंड या सहज भाई सैडली खुद खेल रहे हैं बट साहिल just happy that we are covering the finals. Plus, अपने पास thanks to FIDE, we have the camera footages as well.
बिल्कुल एमिल भाई की देखो, मैं तारीफ करने से कभी रुकता नहीं हुआ. थैंक्स अ लॉट फॉर द कैमरास, रियली अप्रिशिएटेड. एंड मीनवाइल दिव्या
Yeah,
टेकिंग अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम. Rakesh bhai, I think she's losing the only asset she has, the time. She plays a
yeah,
normal move h3. That's not changing the position. And मुझे लग रहा है Humpy is slowly going to grind this out. I would even say black is slightly better now.
yeah. H3 I really like that move. King को escape square बना दिया है. King को सांस लेने की जगह है वहां पे. Bishop G4 वाला एक pin भी I think
Hmm.
in a way she stops it. But it's also like कि clearly Divya is admitting that मेरा कोई इतना खास plan नहीं है.
That's a very good point, Rakesh bhai. कि मेरे पास h3 if I'm playing, that means I cannot improve the position of all my remaining pieces, and that means black के पास अभी भी scope है. Rook e8, bishop f6, queen d7, rook d8. Black has so many obvious moves, and if Divya doesn't have obvious moves, that means she will have to do something creative, and वहीं पे कहीं ना कहीं पे या तो time लगेगा या फिर गलती हो सकती है.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल वेरी नाइस विजेट जो अपना टॉप लेफ्ट कॉर्नर पे साइल आप देख सकते हैं जनता देख सकती है कि कितना समय कोई स्पेंड कर रहा है सो हम्पी नाउ ऑलमोस्ट 1 मिनट इन द टैंक 11 साढ़े 11 मिनट है बट साइल आई थिंक ये वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल एट स्टेक आपको जो मतलब 5 मिनट के नीचे जाओगे ना आई फील द नर्व्स विल स्टार्ट कमिंग इन
Absolutely. And chat, अगर से आप पूछते हैं किसको सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं राकेश भाई, who would you
अरे
like to
यार
see win this one? भाई साहज भाई तो कल भाग गए, वो आए नहीं आज क्वेश्चन सवाल पूछने के बाद. Who are you supporting here?
I mean, it was so tough, यार मतलब हम्पी मैम लेजेंड ऑफ द गेम इंडिया नंबर 1 वुमेन में 20 सालों से इनफैक्ट हम्पी तो ग्रैंड मास्टर बनी दिव्या के पैदा होने के पहले सो यू
Hmm.
काइंड ऑफ वांट हर टू हैव वन वर्ल्ड टाइटल एट द क्लासिकल लेवल जो उनके पास नहीं है और ऑन द अदर हैंड दिव्या just 20 21 years old can become a grandmaster with this win it's also like youth versus experience. तो वेरी टफ आई वुड लाइक टू सी चैट किसको सपोर्ट कर रहा है वैसे और अगस्त आई थिंक चैट भी है हमको भी पूछ रही है बट हम भी चैट को पूछना चाहिए मे बी वी कैन हैव अ पोल टिकू बट अगर आई हैड टू पिक वन तो शायद आई वुड पिक दिव्या फॉर दिस
Yeah, maybe Divya as well. I think maybe it means slightly more for her because she might get the GM title, I think. But
करेक्ट करेक्ट
anyway, either way, the main point is both of them are into the candidates. I think that's the main factor here. And that's why I think nobody will be super disappointed if they lose. चाहे वो Divya हो, चाहे वो Humpy हो, they will have a shot at the World Championship title, Rakesh bhai. Could we have two world champions? By the way, Bishop G6 played.
एब्सोल्युटली
So Humpy also maybe is preparing to put that knight on f5 in some cases to attack the rook, attack the pawn. And yeah, no commitment from the rook yet. Yeah, maybe she wanted to defend f7 before she plays rook e8.
possible. Queen d7, rook a d8, attacking that pawn center wala, that is also possible. और मुझे लगता है कि bishop d6 is also that move ki just asking Divya again ki what is your plan? I have
Yeah.
saved my bishop, and f5 पे थोड़ा lose था, knight can also come into f5, but honestly I don't really see a clear plan for Divya. You see her hesitating, Sahil, on the cameras above us.
Yeah. I think you can sense the nerves. And Chad, I think वही मैंने कोट कल मारा था कि वो वायरस वीरू सहस्त्र बुद्धि का कि people do remember who came second, but once you have gone down a few years, I think history में first वाले का ही नाम लिखा जाता है. I think that's definitely true.
बिल्कुल.
And meanwhile, 2 मिनट 2.5 मिनट की है knight to a4. So clearly Divya is feeling कि knight on c3 is not well placed. Let me put it on c5 and maybe put some pressure on b7. But Rakesh bhai, the b7 pawn is already defended. So maybe this is not as scary as it usually is.
क्लियरली नॉट, मतलब एक हल्का सा आइडिया, मे बी समटाइम्स रुक c5 हो सकता है, बट नाइट c5, नाइट e5, दिव्या वांट्स टू टेक एडवांटेज ऑफ दैट आइसोलेटेड क्वीन पॉन. नॉर्मली बोलते हैं कि वो पॉन के सपोर्ट में आपके पीसेस को लाओ, एंड रिमेंबर ऑल एंड गेम्स ब्लैक को प्रेफर करेंगे. हम्पी विल बी बेटर इन ऑल ऑफ द एंड गेम्स, क्योंकि व्हाइट के पास 3 पॉन आइलैंड्स है और गुच्छे है 3, और ब्लैक के
Yeah.
पास सिर्फ 2. सो दैट इज गोइंग टू वर्क आउट इन हम्पीज फेवर. But yeah, Divya trying to, equalize. Or Sahil, I think मुझे आइडिया समझ गया दिव्या का. It is not knight c5. Divya wants to play pawn to d5 and forcing the trade of that weak
Ah,
pawn.
that is a great plan actually. She controls the c5 square ताकि d5 पे c5 ना आए. ये weakness को she wants to
Yeah,
get rid of. That is a great plan actually. Then I think this is a beautiful move and एक hidden idea because obvious idea knight c5 लगता है यहाँ पे.
बिल्कुल. d5 is actually very difficult to stop also, Sahil. Knight f5 शायद करके एक मूव पुश कर सकते हैं हम भी. But I feel, yeah, rook e1, rook d3 with the idea of d5 should also work. Yeah, I like knight a4, Sahil, now.
Yeah, looks like a very logical move. Chat by स्ट्रीम लाइक कर दो भाई. लेट्स गेट टू 200 लाइक जल्दी से भाई लोग, तभी कैमरा आगे भी मिलते रहेंगे, वरना नहीं मिलेंगे भाई लोग. जल्दी भाई,
Yeah.
वो देख रहे हैं हमारी स्ट्रीम, कह रहे हैं भाई लाइक कम से कम 500 होने चाहिए एंड तक, वरना बुरा मान जाएंगे. जल्दी से लाइक करो तो भाई, लेट्स गो. Oh, bishop g5 played and Divya of course is forced to take that bishop, right? So bishop पे advantage तो
Yeah.
गया राकेश भाई, and now it's mostly about this pawn.
Yeah, and I think d5 takes is suddenly काफी ज्यादा equal, and in fact only looks like Divya is the only player who can push.
I agree
Better
कि नाइट,
development की वजह से.
या ये नाइट को पहले पॉन क्वीन बिशप सब डिफेंड कर रहे थे, सडनली तन्हा अकेला छोड़ दिया है इसको सेंटर ऑफ द बोर्ड में, एंड एट सम पॉइंट इट कैन बी अटैक्ड एंड विल हैव टू मूव अगेन. बट अगेन द पॉन स्ट्रक्चर इज सिमेट्रिकल. या इट्स पॉन के आगे पॉन, पॉन के आगे पॉन, सो इट फील्स लाइक कि it's still not easy for, I would say, either side to win this one.
Yeah, it is very. And Tico, मैं आप पूछ रहे थे कि कौन जीतेगा, and big part is both of them are qualifying for the candidates, but also bigger part is, Sahil, आज भारत के तरफ आने वाला है गोल्ड और सिल्वर दोनों ही मेडल. सो द trophy is coming home no matter what, and we also love both the players, support both the players, would love to see both of them win. But आज होगा एक प्लेऑफ, इट विल बी द रैपिड ब्लिट्स. बट साहिल, क्या आपको लगता है आर्मागेडन से डिसाइड हो सकता है ये ट्रॉफी?
जिस हिसाब से दोनों प्लेयर्स ने खेला है ना, लाइक द फॉर्म दे आर इन, इट इज टोटली पॉसिबल कि हम पूरा अंत तक जाए राकेश भाई. लाइक इट वुड नॉट बी अ शॉकर. अब चाहोगे क्या, लंबा चले कम चले, व्हाट्स योर होप?
I think it's just like जितना एक्शन मिले, आई वुड से आर्मागेडन would be heartbreaking for someone. तो शायद ब्लिट्स तक अगर पहले नेक्स्ट सेट ऑफ रैपिड गेम से ब्लिट्स गेम में खत्म हो जाए, सो दैट वुड बी नाइस.
Humpy has a better strategy, Ratna is saying. I think so far, I think Divya also proving, yeah, मतलब she has some good ideas. Like ये knight a4 d5 idea निकालना इतना आसान नहीं था. Go Divya, go, बिल्कुल. I think supporters of both. And by the way, अभी भी 3 मिनट की edge almost, and Rook g3 played.
या रुक जी3, नाइस अटैकिंग मूव, आस्किंग द क्वीन अ क्वेश्चन. और अब क्वीन हटाओगे उसके बाद ना आप h6 जैसा एस्केप स्क्वायर नहीं बना पाओगे. द बिशप ऑन b3 वुड लव टू चॉप ऑफ दैट. मतलब लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल क्वीन e7,
हम्म।
नाइट C5, और आप H6 जैसा एस्केप स्क्वायर नहीं खेल सकते
या
हो, बिकॉज सडनली रुक G6 एंड वो बिशप विल से हेलो एकदम दूर से साइल।
Yeah, bilkul. Lots of tactics in the air, and apparently Queen h6 is the best move, and that gives Humpy a
वाओ,
slight edge. But this is so difficult to see Queen ko kone mein dalna aise, and she doesn't play it. Yeah, Queen f6, the more
वेरी
human move,
टफ।
Rakesh bhai. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Queen at F6 is a more human move. By the way, 68% rooting for Divya in the chat, 32% for Humpy. आज हम normally polls में डालते हैं draw, but आज वो option ही नहीं है. We will play down to a winner. एक player
Yeah,
को
yeah.
मिलने वाला है gold आज, no matter what.
आई थिंक गुड क्वेश्चन फॉर क्वीन एच सिक्स कैसे निकाल सकते हो आप? आई थिंक इट मैटर्स कि आपका टारगेट क्या है। फॉर एग्जांपल क्वीन एच सिक्स का मतलब है द रूक इज ऑन सी वन इज अटैक्ड, सो वाइट कैन नॉट डेवलप द क्वीन। फॉर एग्जांपल वाइट कैन नॉट प्ले क्वीन डी टू। सो मल्टीपल आइडियाज देयर, बट आई थिंक इन अ रैपिड गेम इतना डीप सोचना इज इम्पॉसिबल। क्वीन एफ सिक्स इज द नॉर्मल मूव। आप पॉन पे नजर रख रहे हो, आई थिंक, एंड दैट्स अ डिसेंट मूव। या वो पॉइंट थ्री एडवांटेज के लिए सोचने के लिए मतलब ही नहीं है। एंड हम्पी इज बिहाइंड ऑन द क्लॉक चैट। चैट क्वेश्चन फॉर यू, डू यू थिंक कि यहां पे हम्पी कुड ब्लंडर बिकॉज ही विल फॉल इन टाइम प्रेशर? बिकॉज एक बार राकेश भाई अगर 1 मिनट से कम चले गए ना, एंड इफ दिव्या हैज द सेम एज ऑन द क्लॉक, आई वुड से इट्स लिटरली विनिंग।
I agree. It's also not just a normal tie break. It's a huge tiebreak. There are so many things at stake, और I think both of them big stars. But देखो, you're right, मतलब याद तो वही रखेंगे ना कि कौन जीता था 2025 का वुमेन्स
या
वर्ल्ड कप। सो both of them are playing for that. So nerves या टाइम प्रेशर में तो बिल्कुल आने वाला है। सो लाइक टू कीप अ कुशन, मेंटली आई थिंक दोनों ही प्लेयर्स के कोचेस और टीम्स ने बोला होगा, हैव लाइक अ 2 और 3 मिनट बैरियर, जिससे नीचे ओनली एंड गेम्स में ही आना है।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। एंड आफ्टर कुकीज दिव्या, इट्स टाइम टू शाइन, टू लेट द यंग गन्स टेक ओवर। बिल्कुल, आई थिंक दैट विल बी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। कैन शी बिकम
या
दिस, लाइक कैन इंडिया हैव ऑल द वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप टाइटल्स? चाहे कोई भी हो भाई, वर्ल्ड रैपिड ब्लिट्ज से भी सारे जीत जाए। लास्ट टाइम खेले ही थे बहुत प्लेयर्स, इस बार वो भी ले लेंगे। सारे टाइटल इंडियन ले ले राकेश भाई, कि लिटरली वी कुड हैव एवरी सिंगल वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप इन इंडिया ओनली। भाई बाहर जाने की जरूरत ही नहीं है।
एब्सोल्युटली, और वर्ल्ड कप भी हो रहा है इस साल गोवा या दिल्ली में नवंबर में। सो दैट इज अनदर टाइटल विच वी कुड हैव। वो फिलहाल आई थिंक मैग्नस कार्लसन के पास है, सो वुड लव टू गेट दैट ओवर। और या देखो, इट्स जस्ट शोज द डोमिनेशन ऑफ इंडिया। बट न्यूटन बैकेट वाला, अरे मुझे मालूम ही नहीं था इतनी जल्दी स्ट्रीम चालू होने वाली है।
भाई हमें भी नहीं मालूम था बहुत लेट तक, टू बी ऑनेस्ट, बिकॉज हमने कल ही चालू किया स्ट्रीम करना, उससे पहले हम ईडब्ल्यूसी कर रहे थे। सो हमने भी आज
या
सुबह देखा कि भाई स्ट्रीम तो जल्दी है, एंड जल्दी से तुम्हारे लिए कैमरा अरेंज किए भाई लोग। थैंक्स फॉर अवध भाई फॉर दैट एंड फिडे फॉर दैट। बट या आई थिंक टाइम थोड़ा शॉकिंग है राकेश भाई, बिकॉज यूजली 1 घंटा पहले होता है इन 99%
करेक्ट,
केसेस
करेक्ट।
एट बेस्ट।
या
3 घंटा पहले मैंने कभी देखा नहीं है।
इट वाज मतलब थोड़ा अजीब, बट आई थिंक इट्स आल्सो बिकॉज फीडे को क्लोजिंग सेरेमनी करना है। प्लेयर्स
या
आर आल्सो देयर फॉर लाइक अ मंथ। तो दे माइट हैव टू लीव टुमारो, दे माइट हैव फ्लाइट्स बुक टुमारो। तो फटाफट आज रैप अप करेंगे। एंड या सोच किंग आर्मेगेडन हो सकता है आज। वी विल प्ले डाउन टू अ विनर इररिस्पेक्टिव। अगर सारे गेम्स ड्रॉ ड्रॉ होने वाले तो देखो, वो मैग्नस और नेपो जैसा नहीं चलने वाला है कि शेयर कर लो।
या बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। एंड मेरे हिसाब से राकेश भाई, जो मुझे लगता है ना, कि यहां पे दिव्या का टाइम बराबर हो चुका है। वी डोंट हैव एन एडवांटेज फॉर ईदर साइड, कोई भी यहां पे ऐसा सीन नहीं है। सो आई एम गोना से दैट हम्पी हैज अ बेटर चांसेस नाउ। आई सी अ टारगेट फॉर हर। आई सी रूकी गेट इनकमिंग। सो दिव्या हैज लाइक
D5
फाइव
played.
मूव्स। ओ, शी प्लेड इट
D5 played,
इंस्टेंटली।
sir. Yeah.
वाओ।
It's like it's like a very strong move, Sahil, or just in a way saying, my queen is going to come to D5. I really like White's position, Sahil. And by the way, time equal होते हुए.
प्रोड्यूसर साहब, क्या हम तीन उसका सेटअप कर सकते हैं गेस्ट का? डू वी हैव वन? लेट मी नो इफ इट्स पॉसिबल, देन वी वुड हैव वन मोर गेस्ट ज्वाइनिंग अस सून।
Ooh.
हाँ, आई थिंक श्रीनाथ कैन आल्सो, ही हैज सम ओपिनियंस टू शेयर। वुड लव टू नो कि क्या कहना चाहते हैं श्रीनाथ जी।
बढ़िया,
हाँ हाँ राकेश
yeah,
भाई, आई थिंक
yeah.
यू विल हैव दैट, अगर आप शेयर कर सकते हो तो।
Sure. And by the way, shout out to समय भाई जो हमारे प्रोड्यूसर है आज। और अभी प्लेयर्स के नीचे भी आ गया है, लाइव फ्रॉम बाटुमी जॉर्जिया। साहिल, ये देखने को आई थिंक आपकी आंखें तरस गई थी।
हाँ भाई, आई थिंक मेरी आंखें मतलब, ओ बाय द वे, रुक D8, you, if you take this pawn now on C6, 94 is winning for Humpy.
वाओ।
Completely over. Queen attacked, rook attacked, and not to forget queen F2 as well. So Divya ka D5 plan is not working, Rakesh bhai. She cannot take this.
बिल्कुल साहिल, इट इज वेरी ट्रिकी। शी हैज टू मूव द क्वीन अवे। रुक के सामने क्वीन और किंग को बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं होता है खड़े रहना, सो शी हैज टू मे बी ट्राई समथिंग लाइक अ क्वीन E2 या कुछ, साहिल।
Ha, but I would
बट
love to play Rook D3, but Bishop controls, and this is getting
या
difficult for
या
Divya Deshmukh. And she looks at the clock. She just had a glance at the clock. She's behind there. She's behind on the position. Apparently, the best move is Rook F3, attacking the queen and just chasing the queen somehow. Rook G3 and so on, and hoping for a draw. But Humpy will not take a draw now, Chad. I think Humpy in the driver's seat.
बिल्कुल, आई थिंक दैट इज लाइक अ नाइस रेपिटेशन देयर। बट शी प्लेस क्वीन G4, साहिल।
That is a mistake, I think, Rakesh bhai. That is a mistake. Knight F5,
नहीं,
attacking the Rook, and Humpy is better, clearly better.
और शायद पिछले 2-3 चालों में ना मोमेंटम पूरा ब्लैक की तरफ शिफ्ट होते हैं। हम्पी टेकिंग ओवर, टाइम में भी, पोजीशन में भी। आई थिंक दिव्या इन बिग ट्रबल, साहिल।
Yeah, you can see her holding her head. Can we go full screen as well बीच में? She had
या
a
या
glance at the clock again. Even the clock वो adjusted नहीं. हमारे एडिटर साहब कह रहे होंगे कोई एडजस्ट कर दो ताकि शॉर्ट फॉर्म कंटेंट मिल जाए. But I think we can see her fully straight. हम्पी का body language देखो. She's like ready to go.
Yeah, actually, I just love this scene. You can see the players in action, see the Georgia say, or you are right, Sahil. Divya looks tensed, and Humpy can sense it. Spidey sense tingling हो रहा है शायद. She knows she can maybe win this, Sahil.
बिल्कुल. एंड ऑल्सो वन मोर थिंग इज कि यहां पे इफ दिव्या वर टू लूज शी विल बी इन अ मस्ट विन सिचुएशन विद द ब्लैक पीसेस, राकेश भाई. हम्पी विद हर
That's
एक्सपीरियंस विल
tough.
गो फॉर अ वेरी सेफ चॉइस, राइट? आई थिंक शी विल नॉट
Yeah.
लेट गो. And you can see Divya, she's struggling. She's not able to find the resource. And Humpy, I think, has seen knight F5. She's nodding her head. You can see how she's breathing heavy
Yeah.
थोड़ा सा.
Bilkul, Sally, it is not just an ordinary win. It's going to put her into the lead of the World Cup final, Sahil. It's like, scoring the first goal World Cup final में football के.
Wow, this is crazy. Chat stream like karo. Let's. Oh! Humpy does not
No!
find knight F5. Divya Deshmukh getting a lucky break there. She plays C takes D5. And now, Rakesh bhai, Bishop D5 is still a blunder. Knight F5. She
What?
has to play.
Rook F3 played.
Oh, that's the second best move in the position. She had to find knight C3 to grab this pawn. Rook F3 is, well, it's slightly better for Humpy. And now she has to find queen E5 or knight F5, Rakesh. How likely is it she finds all of these?
I think very likely Sahil now. And 5 minutes, 14 seconds, 1.5 minute का advantage दिव्या के पास. And Humpy has to play fast, Sahil. हम time pressure का बोल रहे थे. You do not want to get into this cycle of playing on seconds.
Bilkul. And if you remove the board and I put the two players in front of you, you would say कि one paper में fail हो चुका है and एक paper का topper है, and that is the confidence by the queen e6 played, which is not the best move in the position. But yeah, for now Humpy is simply a pawn up. D5 pawn free का खाली है. If you take this, pawn takes, and that would be completely lost, Rakesh bhai. She cannot take the queen. She has to play knight c3 and try to win the pawn back.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, we can might see a trade of queen, Sahil, but that would allow, the E6 pawn will defend the D5 pawn, so that is a no go for Divya. I think she might play knight C5. Does that work, Sahil?
Yeah, knight c5 also interesting, but I think knight c3 might be better because I just
या
want
pawn
this
ले
pawn.
लो.
By the chat में कई लोग कह रहे हैं वर्ल्ड कप इज इन दिल्ली. किसने बोला भाई? ये कहां पे न्यूज़ है कि वर्ल्ड कप इज इन दिल्ली? इज इट कंफर्म्ड? ओ माय गॉड, रियली?
नहीं, I don't think so. It's confirmed, Sahil.
नहीं नहीं नहीं, कंफर्म नहीं होगा यार, वरना मैं आंसू मेरे अभी निकलने चालू नहीं हुए हैं, सो आई डोंट थिंक वर्ल्ड कप दिल्ली में होगा, वरना आगे होते अब तक. बट
अभी
मीनवाइल
तो मेरे भी आंसू निकलेंगे because I have lived it.
राकेश भाई दिल्ली आए थे 3 दिन के लिए. इट टुक हिम 2 hours टू फॉल सिक, बाय 2 hours. एंड ही वाज
Yeah.
शूटिंग लाइक लेजर्स आउट ऑफ हिज नोज भाई वहां.
And Tiku has footage of that. But let's come back to the game. Knight
Yeah, yeah.
C3 is a great move. Both players, भाई 5 मिनट के आसपास.
Ooh, and knight c3 ke baad, if you try to take the queens and play d4, so this is the only way to save the pawn. But then knight d5. I'm going to threaten knight d7, take the bishop. I have rook f4, I have rook d1. I will take the bishop and I will round up the pawn. There is enough counterplay to round up the pawn, and Divya has to find it in 5 minutes. Rakesh bhai, less than 5 minutes for Divya now.
Yeah, Sahil, that is a big, big
Samay bhai,
worry.
can we have the clocks? I think that's the problem. We don't have the clocks on the left of the board. Can we add the clocks? एक
Oh,
अलग से
yeah.
उसका बुला के. That's very important. And as Divya thinks, meanwhile, less than 5 minutes for Divya Deshmukh. Rakesh bhai, Humpy
Hmm?
is absolutely cruising right now.
Yeah, and chat with Divyanshu people, it is very tough to play from the white side. I agree. You are, like a pawn down वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल में एंड वो प्रेशर आते हुए दिव्या 1 मिनट बिहाइंड ऑलमोस्ट अभी हम्पी जी से.
Oh, that is interesting. And meanwhile, clock is visible in the video. I know we can see the clocks, but I still want it there. Oh, Divya, went back a bit. That typical sigh. Ah, I can't find a move. And she looks at the
That's
clock
pressure.
again. Yeah.
Sahil, do you think like glancing at the clock is like a tell? Oh, she does it again.
Yeah. It shows कि the thing is, if you were sure of a move, you will just not look at the clock and play it instantly. If you're not sure of a move,
Correct,
you look
correct.
at the clock to say कि भाई कितना टाइम है बस कितना मैं टाइम और ले सकती हूँ सोचने के लिए.
तीसरी बार साहिल, she does it again.
Wow.
Divya under pressure. Fourth
चौथी बार
time.
भाई she is constantly glancing at the clock.
This is nerve, Sahil. I've never seen Divya look at the clock so many times.
दिव्या देशमुख एंड कोई कह रहा है पूजा गैम्बिट करो बट दोनों इंडियंस का है वी डोंट यूज दैट वेपन
Yeah, yeah.
बिटवीन टू इंडियंस दैट्स द पॉलिसी दैट्स व्हाई भगवान हमें वो वेपन दिया है कि अपनों के अगेंस्ट इस्तेमाल नहीं करे ओ अगेन शी लुक्स एट द क्लॉक शी इज 2 मिनट्स बिहाइंड राकेश
And this is big और chat exactly friendly fire नहीं करेंगे हम. नो पूछा गैम्बिट्स और ईयर गैम्बिट्स दो इंडियंस के बीच एवर. फिफ्थ साहिल, आई थिंक एडिटर्स आर जस्ट हैप्पी कि एक शॉट मिल गया उनको.
Bilkul, I think. And Divya Deshmukh, you can see her fumbling with her hands. She plays queen to f4, which is not a great move in this position now.
Yeah.
It's still maintaining some sort of equality, but knight c4 from Humpy will really give her some edge because basically यही bishop है जो piece से pawn मार सकता है. And you basically block it, yeah? You say कि कहाँ कहेगा bishop?
Yeah, and queen f4 is like a kind of a nothing move. मतलब there is no threat actually. अगर
Yeah.
आप मैं और एक चांस दूं आपको, आप आपकी पोजीशन इंप्रूव नहीं कर पाओगे. सो इट्स जस्ट लाइक अ वेरी वेरी बिग एडवांटेज फॉर हम्पी नाउ.
Yeah, that's a great point. And point है कि भाई यहाँ पे queen is not threatening anything. I don't see the clock, Sai bhai. Do I see the clock somewhere?
नीचे नीचे साहिल नीचे
अच्छा वो
बॉटम बार
ओ
पे.
नी chat can you see the clock let us know if this clock looks nice or do you want it below the board let us know if it looks okay or not um
या
and फिलहाल के लिए I think queen f4 के बाद Humpy also taking a lot of time राकेश भाई
शी सेंसेस इट दैट उनकी पोजीशन हल्की सी बेटर और उनको पता है दिव्या प्रेशर में. और साहिल, I would say Humpy might just take this because let's remember she is the reigning women's world rapid champion. She has won the world rapid title दो बारी. And this is a rapid play of at least 4 games of rapid chess minimum. So she would be a heavy favorite then, Sahil.
I agree I think especially वहां जीतना कितना मुश्किल है वहां पे you have to win every single round yeah the entire world is chasing you यहाँ पे तो एक ही opponent को आपको हराना है Humpy should be the favorite now but she is also taking a lot of time yeah I think the best would have been just to play quickly but now 3 minute each दोनों के पास blunders are around the corner राकेश भाई
Bilkul, blunders can come very thick and fast. Oh, some people think Divya might lose it, and she is a little behind on the position and the clock. But Humpy ji almost thinking for 2 minutes.
एंड नाइट c3 का मौका एक और मिलता है दिव्या
फिर
को
से.
b6 प्रिवेंट्स नाइट c5 आई थिंक नाइट c5 थ्रेट देखने में हमेशा स्ट्रांग लगता है बट नाइट c3 वापस या इवन रूक d1 जस्ट टू टेक दैट पॉन रूक d1 तो ऑब्वियस है राकेश भाई आई थिंक
Yeah, I think I like both your moves style. Knight c3, rook d1 is just better. And Divya
oh she
about to, she
finds it
plays it.
She's back. Knight c3. Divya striking back in the game. And now Rakesh by 94 is the only move for equality, or Divya could be like point 0.3 better.
Yeah, and हल्के हल्के advantages are going to be critical क्योंकि both players will be under 3 minutes after this move.
Bilkul. Oh my God. And you know what? Once the first game finishes, let's send the link to Srinath as well. Would love to have him and see his advice. क्या कहते हैं
Yeah.
वो? Now she finds 94. Damn. I
Wow,
think फिलहाल के लिए
clutch.
दोनों Oh wow.
Yeah, would love to get Srinath's opinions because he's the coach of the Indian team. I think has worked with both these players sometime in the past. So, insights बता पाएंगे दोनों ही players के अंदर and would love to have him. Yeah.
राकेश भाई द क्लॉक्स के ऊपर जो ग्लांसेस है वो कंटिन्यू होती जा रही हैं. रुक E1 played by Divya
One.
pinning that knight, but the thing is, are you really threatening something here? I'm not sure. Is this a real threat? Do you want to exchange knights at white?
No, I don't think so. It's like to exchange. It's just to keep the pressure. और एक
Hmm.
अभी तो might want to get into some tactics also. मतलब rook e3 के बाद the other rook
Oh,
f3 वाला. Then suddenly I'm threatening to win your piece.
एब्सोल्युटली. एंड क्वीन को देखो, यहां से पिन कह रही है भाई मैं तो एक चेस गेम खेलने आई थी, ये क्या चल रहा है मेरे साथ. एंड ब्लैक का रुक अभी भी डेवलप नहीं है राकेश भाई. सो इफ यू लुक एट द पीस प्लेसमेंट, आई थिंक इट जस्ट लुक्स लाइक कि व्हाइट इज बेटर डेवलप्ड.
Yeah, very true. रुक ऑन f8 अभी तक हिला ही नहीं है एक बार और दोनों ही प्लेयर्स के पास 2 मिनट 20 सेकेंड.
ओ
साहिल मुझे लग रहा है we might just see some a blunder coming in. Queen c6.
ओ
That's
क्वीन
a
सी
good move
सिक्स.
again.
वाओ. एंड नाउ रुक D1, नॉट एन इजी मूव टू फाइंड. आपने अभी E1 पे रुक रखा है. इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू स्विच योर रुक बैक टू D1. एंड D4 could be incoming at the right moment. राकेश भाई पास pawn.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. It is a very tough move. Divya looks at the clock once again. और आइडिया है ब्लैक का पॉन टू d4 हो. पॉन भाग सकता है और रानी बन सकती है.
ओ या एग्जैक्टली. पास पॉन्स तो एक ड्रीम होते हैं एंड गेम के अंदर. अगर यहाँ क्वीन स्ट्रेट हो जाती एंड देन लेट्स से नाइट ट्रेड हो जाते, ये पॉन तो फ्री का एक्स्ट्रा पॉन है ब्लैक के पास. एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स ब्लैक विल
Yeah.
स्लोली स्टार्ट प्लेइंग रुक D6, रुक D8, ब्रिंग द किंग एंड जस्ट पुश दिस पॉन ऑल द वे. सो दिव्या हैज टू के मतलब 1.5 मिनट है दिव्या के पास. राकेश भाई दिस इज गेटिंग वेरी वेरी क्लोज.
Very close. And I have not seen Humpy look at the clock even once. And Divya ने 7-8 बारी करी और 9वें बार.
वाओ.
As I was
दैट
saying it,
इज
she is nervous, Sahil.
That is a great observation. Humpy has not looked at the clock even once, and Divya is looking at the
Yeah.
clock every 5 seconds. That is the nerves talking. And Humpy ke haath hai, wo calm as a cucumber, and she takes on E4. Wow. And now Humpy has the choice. Bishop se mare ki pawn se mare.
Yeah, I,
Wow.
I, I think Sahil Black will be a pawn up. This is huge. This is a big concession Divya के द्वारा. और Humpy definitely is better. eval बार दिख रहा होगा आपको equal, but Black has an extra pawn. कैसे justify करोगे साहिल?
बिल्कुल. एंड आई थिंक पॉन से मार दिया है. नाउ दैट पॉन इज लेस ऑफ अ वीकनेस. एंड जो बिशप G6 पे था ना, कोई काम धंधा नहीं कर रहा था पिछले 200 सालों से, वो भी एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले कर रहा है. एंड आई थिंक दिव्या नीड्स टू ग्रैब दिस पॉन क्विकली. आई थिंक अगले 2-3 मूव में अगर ये पॉन बोर्ड पे रहा, आई थिंक ब्लैक एट सम पॉइंट विल सिंपली प्ले रुक E8. ये बिशप गया तो F5 भी, एंड ये पॉन को कैप्चर करना फिर मुश्किल नामुमकिन हो जाएगा राकेश भाई.
या रुक c3 प्लेड क्वीन पे अटैक. क्वीन d6 खेला है हम्पी ने. ट्रेड ऑफरिंग द ट्रेड ऑफ क्वींस. Sahil,
राकेश भाई,
you do not want to be a pawn down in the World Cup final.
Queen D6, Rook D6, an important move. G4 preventing any F5 ideas, and maybe she can get the pawn back. Oh, doesn't play it.
Queen
Queen G4.
g4.
And now Queen F6. Humpy is -1.
Told you.
She's getting a close to winning position if she finds Queen F6.
Yeah, told you, Sahil. It is very tough being a pawn down. It was not well played in the middle game. And Queen f6, not a difficult move, Sahil. Another
Yeah,
idea मैं सोच रहा हूँ, किंग बाजू में कर लो, f5 का थ्रेट देने.
एक बार F5 आ गया, the game is over. Yeah. Once F5 happens,
Yeah,
the game is
yeah.
basically over because you will never get this pawn back and black will start pushing these pawns and creating attacking chances. 1 minute 10 सेकंड दोनों प्लेयर्स के पास. Chat, final predictions गेम वन की. Is it Divya? Is it Humpy? Is it a draw? Spam कर दो chat की जल्दी से. Let's go. Final predictions game one.
Wow, Sahil, look at our poll. 56% as if Divya was at 70% at the peak. Chat is sensing Humpy is getting better.
Wow, what a matchup this is. 45 seconds for Koneru Humpy here, Rakesh. She's playing on seconds.
Yeah, and you only get 10
Oh,
seconds, chat, every move. Queen
how is
D7
she
offering the
not look?
trade.
Oh my
King
god.
F4.
Oh, Humpy, she just put the queen on F4 and then brought it back to G4.
That is nerve, Sahil.
भाई अगर मैं करता ना ऐसे मेरे कोच मुझे डांट लगाता भाई ऐसे बिना सोचे मैं चलो दिस इज नर्व स्टॉकिंग बेसिकली. वाओ.
Yeah, 50 seconds for Divya Deshmukh. Can she somehow recover the pawn and take the game to a draw?
Wow, super interesting chat. I think as of now, यहाँ पे yeah, Queen F4 is very. Oh, Queen G3 she chooses. I'm not sure if that's a better square.
Nahin. No, yeah, you are allowing the queen come to D2. Sida. F4 say you were stopping that, Sahil. I think queen D2 and Humpy can again put on the pressure.
Wow, this is getting nerve-wracking to be honest. 22 seconds. Oh, they're again repeating. Are they going for a draw, Rakesh bhai?
हो सकता है चैट में भी लोग बोल रहे हैं आर दे रिपीटिंग आई डोंट थिंक सो हम्पी प्लेज H5 साहिल.
Oh, that is an improvement. And oh, wait, Divya again doing that. She's not
Nerves.
sure what to play. Queen G5 is the best move, though. It is the best move. She has to play it there.
Yeah, 44 seconds or 32 seconds. Queen G5 played.
Wow. Oh my God. Queen G5 played now and King H7. That is the move that will give Humpy the edge. Unpinning the F pawn, freeing up it. Oh, she's playing. Oh, nahi, Rook E8 खेला उसने. Oh.
Oh. Still
And
decent,
now,
black still having the pawn advantage. Remember, black की queen नहीं हटनी चाहिए because queen G6 will be a free piece, Sahil.
and by the way, she plays Rook C1, the second best move in the position. But Humpy has a +1 advantage if she plays King H7. It is the move, but Humpy's not going for it. She plays Rook E5, attacking the Rook. Oh, Queen D8 was possible there after Rook E5.
Yeah, but queen G3 back and 55 seconds for Divya, just 15 seconds for Humpy.
Oh my God, chat,
And
this
this
is
is getting
bullet chess
serious.
literally. Wow.
Yeah, I
11,
chat
10.
Humpy.
Okay, your
Yeah,
audio vanished.
Hello. Can you hear
हाँ,
me?
now I can hear. Oh my God, Rook E7
Fifth.
played now. Controlling all the files, yeah. Rook के पास entry square नहीं है. She plays Rook D1. That's the best move in the position. Oh my God, Queen गई Rakesh bhai.
Queen sacrificed by Humpy, and she's banking on these two rooks and that pawn on E4. And
I
Humpy, I
think
think,
that was
very
a
safe.
blunder. Divya is winning. Oh my God,
Crack!
Queen B8 was
Queen B8
winning there. Wow.
Oh, she is lucky, Humpy, there. Divya was completely winning Queen B8 pe.
And now Rook D8, Rakesh bhai, but looking at the optics of it, Divya has the queen against Rook, Bishop, and Pawn. The bar says equal,
Yeah.
but you know how difficult it is to coordinate a Rook, Bishop, and Pawn, and Bishop blocked by its own pawn. I think Divya Deshmukh is winning this.
I also feel so, the momentum has once again shifted. Divya शायद मुझे लग रहा है जीत सकती है ये गेम. उनको शायद रुक टेक्स रुक मार के क्वीन लेके आओ पॉन्स खाने के लिए ब्लैक के.
बिल्कुल एंड एक बार एक पास पॉन हो गया दैट इज द गेम एंड दिव्या लुकिंग मच मोर कॉन्फिडेंट नाउ हम्पी स्टिल नॉट शोइंग एनी नर्व्स बट शी कैन जस्ट टेक एंड ब्रिंग द क्वीन टू C7 शी टेक्स इट
या टेक्स क्वीन लेके आओ क्वीन C3 प्लेड.
या आल्सो आई थिंक सिमिलर आइडिया
कीपिंग विद चैट विद एवरी मूव यू गेट 10 सेकंड्स सो इसी के लिए आप देख रहे हो कि टाइम बढ़ते जा रहा है अपोनेंट दोनों प्लेयर.
या And the idea is Rook D2 avoid Kya Divya. And I think she's going to stabilize the position a bit. And the problem for Humpy is the bishop. This bishop is not active. That is the problem. If this bishop was a dark square bishop, I can imagine bishop yahan pe baithta center mein and back rank issue hote. The king is very safe because ye light square bishop hai.
And Sahil, she listens to you. She starts improving the bishop. Bishop f5, bishop e6 पे काफी strong होगा. Divya goes in queen c7, attacking the rook and pawn.
You see, the bar went up. I told you, it's very difficult to play as black here. It's
Yeah.
impossible to coordinate all these pieces. आपको right चाल सोचना almost impossible. Queen f4. Divya can literally move around for the next 20 moves. Queen e3, queen f4, queen g5. And with time pressure, I think, you see, moving the bishop back, Rakesh.
It is not easy to play as black. एक गलती और आप गेम हार सकते हो. Divya, in fact, can also use her king. Nigel shot जैसे king लेके आओ आगे.
Bilkul. And you know what? What Humpy has done is she's created a fortress, Rakesh. She's saying, my rook will defend this will defend
Yeah.
this will defend this will defend this will defend this and this. So how do you win this game? As of now, Divya doesn't have a target.
True, but as Magnus Carlsen says, he does not believe in fortresses. मुझे लगता है ये fortress breach हो सकता है. You can start using, changing your move, king, queen around, bringing your king in, और right moment पे g4 break आ सकता है.
Bilkul, I agree. G4 will be a crucial break, but has to be timed perfectly. Whether Rook D3 खेला यहाँ पे हम्पी ने, and now B4 is the best move. Trying to be ready for any sort of advance on the queen side. अभी दिव्या को एक pass pawn चाहिए. She's behind on the clock. But Rakesh bhai, any chances Divya loses this first of all?
Zero chances. She's under no risk situation. एक ही हल्का सा chance है साहिल on the clock. But yeah, Divya plays it. 24 seconds for Divya.
Wow, super interesting. And now G4 played. But I think this feels a bit hurried, Rakesh, because Rook के पास
Correct.
F3 square भी हो सकता है.
Absolutely, G4 का Rook D3 का plan था हम्पी का. She's cutting the king off. So now the king can literally not cross it. Or now I think Sahil, the fortress should work.
Oh yeah, it does feel like, I think in fact black के chances भी हो सकते हैं. If the bishop somehow sits on F3, anything is possible. I think the problem is there is no weakness to attack. By the way, लेकिन there is no bishop F5 now. So if I go queen C7, कुछ हो रहा है क्या?
Rook D2 is the problem, Sahil. आपके पास भी pawn है. Yeah,
she plays B3 and Rook D3 back, attacking the pawn. Now what does, apparently B4. Oh, her hands were shaking, Rakesh, when she played Queen C4.
And this is the World Cup final. Of course, anybody in the world would be nervous. Humpy going for the trades.
Wow, this is nerve-wracking. It is the finals, the final tie breaks. One person is going to win this. E3 pawn trade हो चुका है. राकेश भाई, draw की chances और बढ़ते हुए.
बिल्कुल, as soon as Humpy played E3, Divya ने वो shrug of her shoulders किया दिखाने के लिए, या अभी तो मुश्किल लग रहा है. She knows it, but Divya under some pressure, but no risk situation.
Yeah, I think they were still not risking anything because black has कोई advantage नहीं है. Again, dark square bishop would have been much more, effective. And now यहाँ पे I think 18 seconds for Divya. She has to play quickly. Plays king g2, but I don't think that changes the valuation even one bit.
Yeah, the rook nicely cutting the king. Rook e4 आ सकता है, attacking the queen and the pawn. Then suddenly queen c8 शायद खेलना पड़ेगा. Only move.
And wait a second, a5. So
What?
I think Humpy is saying, I'm going to put the rook on e6 now. कर लो जो करना है.
हाँ.
That is a very good fortress. I think Magnus Carlsen को मैं बुलाना चाहूंगा बताने के लिए कैसे ब्रेक करना है इस वाले को.
So yeah, producer जी, can we have Magnus join in? मतलब. Yeah, rook e6 Sahil. अभी I think जो करना है, that is what Humpy is saying. I'm going to stick king g8, king h7. Black can just repeat. It's a draw.
Yeah, कोई कह रहा है Humpy is the pawn up. The pawn is not up really because queen versus rook and bishop and pawn है. So it's completely equal. And Rakesh bhai, bishop e4 ये क्या move है? I think just bishop g6, bishop e4 है. She's offering a repetition now, I think.
Yeah, and अगर आप bishop g6. Hello, Sahil bhai.
Yeah, I can hear you, Rakesh bhai.
Yeah, bishop g6. I think queen h4 check, queen d8 check is like a repetition.
Yeah, she's repeating once.
Repetition incoming.
But you have to say, if this is a draw, I think Humpy has survived that. I think एक moment था जहां पे +1 point. And look at Divya. She is really emotional. I think she must have sensed कि कहीं ना कहीं ये winning था जरूर. I spoiled this. If I had won this, I would be almost through, Rakesh.
बिल्कुल, Divya had like a couple of fingers on that trophy, if not one full hand, but it just feels like an opportunity lost, Sahil. You are absolutely right.
And chat अभी 150 like है. I'm going to say 1 2 3 now. सबके सब साथ में like बटन दबाओ ताकि और लोग आ पाए. 1 2, 3, and now let's go because of एक ही game राकेश भाई. Whosoever wins the next game wins the entire tournament.
Yeah, wins the Women's World Cup game is still not over, but any chances, Sahil, anybody wins this, like Divya wins this.
I think draw होगा because I think Humpy decided I'm not going to move the rook. I'm not going to move anything. But king g8, king h7. This is what she's playing. And for Humpy, the only way forward is to kind of take some drastic risks. And I don't think it's worth it. You will have to bring
Not
the
at all.
king somewhere. How do you even bring the king? It's not really possible, yeah?
Yeah, and Divya repeating moves and gaining some time on the clock, trying to figure out कि कोई रास्ता है, but I don't think साहिल कोई भी रास्ता है किसी प्लेयर के पास.
Yeah. Chat, question to you. Do you think this is a draw now? Yes or no? Look at Humpy. She's half nodding her head that she has made it. There is no
Yeah,
way easy. I think pass pawn. अगर ये pawn यहाँ होता ना या यहाँ होता, I think Hawaii would be completely winning. That's the
correct.
difference.
But by the first show of emotion there by Humpy, whereas we have seen Divya fully expressive throughout the tournament.
Yeah, and usually emotion show करना. Levon उन्होंने ने कहा था कि emotion is a big flaw when you're playing chess. But can Divya prove the contrary? King G8, Divya. Humpy's like, भाई मेरे king कभी चलने का मौका मिलता नहीं है. He's not in great shape. I'm gonna just move the king now. बस 10,000 steps आज ही complete होंगे.
बिल्कुल 10,000 steps king के होने वाले. And look at that white pawn on the black pawn on f7. That is the जान बोलते हैं ना पूरे पोजीशन के. Just supporting everything there.
Rakesh bhai, audio had gone. Okay, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
By the way, b4, Divya creating some chances. But Rakesh bhai, nothing changes because the b6 pawn is still defended.
Yeah, I think you take on b4, yeah, and everything remains the same. Status quo maintained.
Yeah, and you have to be careful. Check. Oh, you see the nervousness. You have to be very careful because king f4, rook e4 wins for black.
Yeah, king.
Bhai
It's like
sahab.
that. Rukesh versus Ding, blunder by Ding. No loose moves. 15 seconds for Divya.
Oh,
Sahil.
Divya, ध्यान से king f2 she can play. She can play
It's
king
under
f2.
10
There's no.
seconds. First time under 10 seconds, Sahil.
And by the way,
Can
अगर यहाँ
wait
g
a
pawn आता है,
second.
yeah, f6 g5 could be mate. She has to be careful.
Yeah, absolutely.
But luckily for her, na, like the pawn
One
is
more
hanging.
idea, Sahil. Yeah, but
हाँ,
rook e4, queen into
हाँ.
b6, f5 खेल सकता है क्या black? That is
But
what
bishop
Humpy is
hanging है राकेश
thinking.
भाई. Bishop hanging
Oh,
है.
now, yeah, king needed to be on h7 for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So lot of threats still and time. एक बार अगर लगा दी, I can't see the clock there for some reason. Is it me or I can't see the clock? क्या scene है?
Yeah, हट गया. Humpy
Clock ले
bringing
आते,
the
clock
rook
ले
back
आते.
for Sahil.
ले
Humpy
clock.
has played my move.
Oh, she's going for it. But queen b6, rook a4, Rakesh. That's the drawing move, I think.
Aha, yeah. Divya under 5 seconds.
Oh my God, 6. She has to play with queen b5. She maintains the
What?
pawn. Nice move. Why she played, I think, on 2 seconds or something. I think 3 seconds में खेली वो चाल.
Yeah, 3 seconds. Humpy has 23 seconds. I think, Sahil, all 3 results possible. It's the time pressure. It's the pressure of the World Cup final.
Yeah, I think king g3 pair, I think it's a draw then. I think Divya had a
Yeah.
mini, heart attack there. I think she's going to take the draw now. She will not push now. I think she will take the draw. That was very close, Rakesh bhai. That was very close, actually.
Yep, too close for comfort. And now Divya threatening that perpetual check. Queen d8, queen
Yeah.
h4.
You can see
Incoming.
how she moved that queen, right? Like she's taking the draw now. Like, see, she moved it in a very soft way. Like, I think she's taking the draw now.
But you never know, Sahil. ये नया
I think
भारत है. Youth isn't afraid. हम दोनों
But-
uncles क्या बोलेंगे youngsters के बारे में?
by the way, king h6, queen h4 is mate. So you have to be, not mate exactly, but yeah, two move mate. But yeah, queen c7 played.
Divya plays on.
Chat draw ही होगा very likely. Rook e3 check again. King f2, I guess. But rook e4, attacking both pawns, Rakesh.
Yeah, Sahil, you don't want to be defending this if you're Divya.
Basically, g pawn gaya na, then black can win this. So g pawn cannot be lost, Rakesh bhai. Then I think black will start playing for a win. So, but Humpy, okay, just pushes the rook back. She doesn't want to calculate anything.
That's also fair, वेल हार्ड फॉट गेम, ब्लैक से ड्रॉ करो एंड हम्पी विल बी द फेवरेट एनीवे टू विन विद व्हाइट
Yeah.
इन द नेक्स्ट गेम.
Silence on uncle as of now. Thank you, agent bhai. By the way, king check, एक और check, एक और check, एक और check, and they're repeating Rakesh bhai. Ooh, not just
Looks
yet.
like check. 50 seconds. I think both players थोड़ा तो टाइम गेन कर लिया उन्होंने.
Ooh, super tricky.
Yeah, Avtar, you are right. Both players can offer a draw because 30 moves are done. So both of them can offer. साहिल भाई, क्या आपको पता है कि गेम ड्रॉ क्यों होगा हम्पी के लिए?
क्यों?
बिकॉज शी डिड नॉट मूव द गोल्डन पॉन.
ओह अच्छा, वो अपनी गेम
गोल्डन
में तो
पॉन
मूव करके आया
डिफेंडिंग
था, लेकिन वो
एवरीथिंग.
साज भाई अपनी मूव में वो खेलता ही 1F5 है, दूसरों को गोल्डन फोल्डर नहीं बोलते भाई.
हाँ, इसके लिए तो सहज भाई 2400 पे आ गया ना. बाय द वे, रेपिटेशन शायद इनकमिंग क्वीन H2 चेक, क्वीन B8 चेक आ सकता है.
Yep, and by the way, chat, usually चेसकॉम पे अपने आप ड्रॉ जाता है 3-4 रेपिटेशन पे या whatever, बट रियल
करेक्ट.
गेम में क्लेम करना पड़ता है. बाय द वे, बिशप E4.
गया माइक. साहिल भाई.
मेरा माइक चला गया था, सॉरी माय बैड. शी इज बेसिकली
साहिल, डू
फोर्सिंग
यू
राकेश भाई.
थिंक any world where we see Humpy go bishop C6 and attacking that pawn?
आई मीन शी वुड हैव टू थिंक कि आई वांट टू विन दिस, देन वो माइंडसेट चेंज चाहिए. एंड विद लेस देन अ
हाँ.
मिनट, आई थिंक इवन इफ शी विंस द पॉन, राइट, इज शी विन इन द गेम? कितने चांसेस मिल रहे हैं? आई डोंट थिंक इट्स टू हाई. सो शी विल नॉट रिस्क इट. आई थिंक बेसिकली व्हाट दिव्या डन इज सेइंग कि आप किंग खेल रहे हो तब से, आई विल नॉट लेट यू मूव द किंग नाउ, कुछ और चलो. दैट्स बेसिकली शी इज सेइंग.
Yeah, but she just rightly comes back with the bishop. By the way, chat बोल रहा है ड्रॉ कर लो भाई, थक गया देख के. So it is.
Chat, by the way, you can imagine, ये players दोनों के दोनों have been playing for this, for like Humpy has been playing for this for the past 20 years, Divya for the past 10-15 years. Like इनका life का goal है यार ये. Like they live their
True.
entire life to win this event. So the nerves, like हम लोग यहाँ बैठ के बोल रहे हैं it's easy. Like imagine कितना pressure होगा इनके ऊपर अभी.
Absolutely. And again, repetition by Divya a couple of times. She's doing this very smartly. But Sal, you're absolutely right. And not many. And draw.
And
Draw.
draw. Wow. That
Wow.
is the draw in the first game of the tie breaks between Divya Deshmukh and Conero Humpy. इसका मतलब second tie break will decide it all. लेकिन राकेश भाई वहां पे हम्पी के white pieces होंगे. So advantage to Conero Humpy.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. And very well played by Divya Deshmukh. 81 moves, hard fought game. She tried to put the pressure on Humpy. एक पॉइंट पे कहीं ना कहीं विन भी थी उनकी. बट हम्पी शोइंग व्हाई शी इज द वर्ल्ड रैपिड चैंपियन. बहुत ही बढ़िया डिफेंस में हम्पी. इसी के साथ स्कोर हाफ हाफ साहिल एज वी गो इनटू गेम 2. शायद प्लेयर्स विल गेट लाइक अ कपल ऑफ मिनट्स ऑफ ब्रेक.
राकेश भाई, so next question to you and chat. आपसे मेरा सवाल है. Do you think we will get the result in the next tie break, or are we going to go into 10 plus 10 next?
Oh, that is tricky, because Humpy will be playing white pieces. So शायद she'll try to win, end it here itself.
Hmm.
But we also have the tiebreaker. I'll just quickly share जनता के साथ. So chat, 2 game mini match with 15 plus 10. उसका एक हो गया. If 1-1, 2 game match with 10 plus 10 time control. थोड़ा time कम हो गया. This अगर still 1-1, now we are done with rapid. फिर आएंगे ब्लिट्स पे 5+3 के 2 गेम्स वापस. इफ दैट इज ऑल्सो 1-1, प्लेयर्स कीप कंटेस्टिंग 3+2 गेम्स अंटिल अ डिसाइसिव रिजल्ट. मतलब नो आर्मेगेडन साहिल. दिस इज द एग्जैक्ट कार्लसन वर्सेस नेपो. डू यू सी चैट एंड साहिल, इंडियंस शेयरिंग द टाइटल?
नहीं नहीं भाई, जीरो चांस आई थिंक. वो आई थिंक कार्लसन नेपो का अलग इक्वेशन है, दोबारा तो फिडे होने नहीं देगा. सो वेरी अनलाइकली.
हाँ
कोई
हाँ
पूछ रहा है
हाँ.
ऑफिस में, लोग चिल्ला के, कौन चिल्ला रहा है भाई साहब? आई रिमेंबर व्हेन आई वाज इन IRL ऑफिस, लेट्स से, तो जब क्रिकेट मैच होते थे तो वहां पे स्क्रीन लगता था राकेश भाई, बड़ा सा.
Mm-hmm.
in the canteen they would have like a big screen and everybody would be shouting there as well. So I think ek zamana hopefully chess ke liye bhi aisa hi kuch aayega. But for now I think the first game was a draw. I think Divya missed an opportunity. I want to check out Rakesh bhai, where was that opportunity? I think this was the blunder that Humpy made. She played rook e7 and rook d1 ke baad the rook was hanging, so she had to sacrifice queen d1. Brilliancy, but okay, she had to sacrifice it, and this was the moment Rakesh bhai that she missed.
Huge.
क्वीन बी एट चेक, अगर रुक दिया तो मैं ए सेवन पॉन मार लूंगा, आई एम कंप्लीटली विनिंग. सो किंग ए सेवन आती हो, लेकिन अगर तो रुक टू सी एट एंड इट इज मेट इन वन, देयर इज नो डिफेंस.
Yeah, and the whole difference was Divya played rook c8 check first, जिसके वजह
हाँ.
से rook d8 आ गया, and now
या
आपका a7 का pawn नहीं मार सकते हो. So Divya missing the correct move order there. उसके साथ उनको पूरा गेम ड्रॉ करना पड़ा. साहिल, you know, I don't know if she'll have a look at it, or her
आई डोंट थिंक
coach
सो.
will. Yeah, it is.
आई थिंक
You
मे बी,
shouldn't.
या स्पेशली बिकॉज ओपनिंग वेब के लिए भी आपके कलर सेम नहीं रहने वाले, सो कलर्स विल बी डिफरेंट, सो देयर इज नो एग्जैक्ट पॉइंट टू इवन लुकिंग एट द ओपनिंग. आई थिंक अभी के लिए यू हैव अ सिप ऑफ वाटर, यू वॉश योर फेस. वो मुझे वो मिल्खा सिंह का मूवी का सीन याद आ रहा है जहां पे ही गोस टू द वॉशरूम, वॉशेस हिज फेस, इवन स्लैप्स हिमसेल्फ. बट
Yeah,
आई थिंक यू गेट द पॉइंट, लाइक दिस काइंड ऑफ व्हाट एम आई डूइंग, आई नीड टू बी फोकस्ड, ऐसे करके यू काइंड ऑफ वेक योरसेल्फ अप एंड यू कम बैक एंड सिट एट द बोर्ड ऑन द ऑपोजिट कलर नाउ दो.
absolutely. Swati is asking, how do I find these moves even though I'm 1200? I think it was like a fortress. So maybe probably that's why it's just easier for all of us to find the moves. But Sahil, next game, game two incoming. We see the arbiters, pieces adjust करके जा रहे हैं. Predictions game two के लिए.
Predictions. I think तभी मैंने कहा कि are we assuming a result in, let's assume a result in this game, ठीक है, let's assume कि आगे नहीं जाने वाला है. In that case, who do you think wins the Women's World Cup chat? Humpy or Divya? Humpy has the white pieces.
Wow. Right.
Sahil, nice hairstyle suits you. Yeah, मैं नींद से उठा हूँ literally. So that's how I stream. Yeah, I sleep for 2 hours before the stream and then I wake up and start. That's the hairstyle I need then.
या सीधा मतलब बेड से उठ के आ गए हो.
हाँ, literally भाई, that's what's happened today. So by the way, और मेरे को लगा ये दिव्या और हम्पी तो नहीं लग रहे, मैं कंफ्यूज हो गया एक सेकंड के लिए. मैंने कहा ये कौन आ रहा है यार, ये तो कपड़े किसी ने पहने नहीं थे.
भाई ये तो वुमेन्स वर्ल्ड कप चल रहा था शायद. आई थिंक वो हमारे कैमरामैन है जो बहुत ही बढ़िया सा जो एंगल है किंग के पीछे, जिससे यू कैन सी द
या,
ब्लैक का फेस. सो थैंक्स टू द कैमरामैन फॉर दैट.
वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. By the way, chat, as we wait, uh, what do you think? Who is more kind of feeling कि यार ये game मेरी थी? Like, do you think Divya is getting the win more, or do you think Humpy? Because both had moments जहाँ पे they were better.
Yeah, I think middle game में Humpy had the upper hand, but I think Divya would just feel कि I missed something. She knows she was better at some points, Sahil, and she was putting the pressure. She was pushing for the draw. And we can come back to that one moment, Sahil, once again, Rook D1 वाला.
Hmm.
लाइक आई थिंक हमने चैट को भी बताया था और हम दोनों ही बोल रहे थे. और एक हाँ कि ये जो G6 का बिशप है दैट इज पिन्ड. सो व्हाई वाज हम्पी
Yeah.
फोर्स्ड टू टेक? बिकॉज इफ यू गो क्वीन B8 इज द ओनली मूव एक्चुअली जहां पे आप रुक और क्वीन B8 इंस्टेड ऑफ.
हाँ.
नहीं नहीं, यहाँ पे नहीं, यहाँ
Yeah.
पे नहीं. क्वीन
अच्छा
इनटू
पीछे.
D1 के बजाय, क्वीन इनटू D1 के
Ah,
बजाय
okay. Queen B8. Yeah, yeah,
Queen
yeah.
B8 is the only move that defends the rook and defends the queen. But rook takes rook, queen takes rook, or queen G6, and now that
Yeah.
bishop on B3 says hello once again. So this pattern was very problematic, and that is why Humpy had to go into this. It is not like Sahil ki Humpy ने जानबूझ मतलब चाहते हुए queen into D1 मारा. She was kind of
Hmm.
forced into it by Divya, but I feel that is the reason why I feel Divya will be a little sad that she let it
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I think one moment, like in maybe she won't realize it yet, but hopefully she doesn't, because that will hamper her confidence quite a bit. Humpy winning, but I'm rooting for Divya. It's not mate in wine. Yeah, there's bishop f5, but then the king has to step out, right? वो king g6, and then it is basically +4 in that position. जो I think बात कर रहे हैं, I think what they're talking about is, for example, यहाँ पे जब you know rook king h7, rook c8. यहाँ mate नहीं है because black does have bishop f5, but then rook h8 check, king g6, queen g3
Mhm.
check, king f6, queen h4 check, yeah, even just rook h5, yeah, even just simple
Yeah.
moves taking the pawn, yeah, queen h4 check. You can imagine g5, queen h5, and this is just falling apart for black. King h6 play, white's king is very safe, and this would be reasonable.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल साहिल, दिस इज जी जी, दिस इज गेम ओवर. एंड चैट में पूछ रहे, व्हाई डिडंट हम्पी यूज हर टू पॉन्स टू अटैक whereas Divya is using all her pieces? I think chat, if you touch these F and G pawn, एक तो golden pawn touch कर लिया, सहज भाई आपसे बहुत नाराज होंगे, but that would, destroy your own fortress. F7 pawn is defending the bishop, defending the rook. You
Yeah.
do not want to like move that pawn, because then there's no going back. Then either you're winning or most likely you're losing after that.
बेसिकली ये पॉन ये पॉन सहाज का फेवरेट पीस ऑन द एवर इन इज लाइफ है, मतलब ये पॉन वही है भाई, ये पोजीशन. सहाज लव्स दिस पोजीशन सो मच कि हर रात को सोने से पहले पोजीशन देख के सोते हैं सहाज भाई. सहाज भाई लव्स दिस पोजीशन सो मच कि वो चेकमेट का एम नहीं करते, वो इस पोजीशन का फोर्ट्रेस का एम करते हैं भाई.
And Div Soni ji, we will have the second tiebreaker now. You see, arbiter's clock set करते हुए, games
हाँ.
will be starting very very soon.
या बिकॉज रिमेंबर कि यहाँ पे दे डोंट नो कि एक ही गेम और होगी कि नहीं. दे इट माइट जस्ट गो ऑन एंड ऑन एंड ऑन. हम्पी हैड लाइक प्लेड 8 गेम्स in her tiebreak against Tingji Lee. So this can go on very long depending on the players. So मुझे लग रहा है कि I think they will start in just a couple of minutes. And of course, Humpy with the white pieces. Rakesh bhai, क्या लगता है what will be her first move with the white pieces यहाँ पे?
D4. I think Humpy might play the London, ऐसा लग रहा है मुझे शायद.
भाई मुश्किल है भाई, मुश्किल है. आई डोंट थिंक ही विल प्ले द लंडन, वेरी अनलाइकली. I mean, D4 though I agree though. D4 I think is very likely. I think Humpy will probably not go for E4 because जो समझ में आ रहा है, I think Divya is the better prepared player because she has probably a bigger team working for her. She's younger, she's more ambitious. So Humpy will try to go into territory जहाँ पे Divya probably has lesser experience, and D4 is very likely for that. B3 would be crazy. Rakesh, any chance of B3, Rakesh bhai?
No chance, I would say. There's too big a scale. मतलब, sorry Adiban, but the stakes couldn't be higher, I feel.
भाई सॉरी अधिबान को पर्सनली बोल देना भाई, अभी मिलने वाले चेन्नई में उससे.
Okay, by the Sahil bhai in chat. Hello, hello, Sahil bhai. Nice to see you.
ओ
देखो
साहिल बत्रा जी, क्या हाल
आपके,
है?
या साहिल बत्रा जी
मैं
जो
कंफ्यूज हो गया
एक
ऐसे के लिए. मैंने कहा ये कौन सा गजनी सिंड्रोम है भाई, राकेश भाई को स्ट्रीम के 1 घंटे बाद सडनली भूल जाते हैं कि भाई मैं स्ट्रीम पे था.
साहिल भाई इन चैट. मेरे याद है साहिल बत्रा जी गुड फ्रेंड, एंड इनफैक्ट आमिर खान के साथ उन्होंने चेस गेम खेला है. सो नॉट मेनी पीपल कैन से दैट.
या नॉट मेनी पीपल कैन से दैट, एंड इनफैक्ट यूजुअली 1 मिलियन सब्सक्राइबर्स चाहिए होते हैं राकेश भाई, समय प्रकार. इससे कम खेलना
ट्रू.
मुश्किल है. वेट सेकंड टाइम, यस इट इज एंड इट्स स्टार्टिंग सून, एंड आई थिंक दिस इज इट. अगर यहां पे रिजल्ट हमें मिल गया, दिस इज द एंड ऑफ द टूर्नामेंट. सो अभी के लिए ऑल द प्रेशर विल बी ऑन दिव्या देशमुख. बट in many games what we have seen is even classical games जब दिव्या के black थे, she equalized quite comfortably, Rakesh bhai. Like her preparation has been top notch. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, and Sahil bhai, I'm hearing some juicy updates that we will have somebody very special joining us, and maybe we can also check in and try to get more of our Indian legends for our stream here.
Yeah, will be interesting. भाई प्लेयर्स आ जाओ यार, रहा नहीं जा रहा है. गेम चालू करो यार.
Yeah, yeah. Second tiebreak is today and can happen at any moment. And you never know. This might be the last game of the Women's World Cup. या फिर we might be here for 3 more hours, Sahil.
Yeah, that is true. And I think जितना भी चलेगा, we will be excited to cover every single game because जितना लंबा चलेगा, उतना I think will be difficult. Meanwhile, can we send the link to Srinath Bhai? I think not to forget that jaldi se, if he's still there, would love to have him from game 2 and get his insights. What does he think? कि कौन जीतने वाला है? And Srinath Bhai very diplomatic है. He will not mention a name though, Rakesh Bhai. He will say chess will win, Bhai. ऐसा कुछ.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, भेज दो link फिर श्री को.
हाँ, of course.
Yeah,
I hope he's
Srinath.
still there. या इफ राकेश वो जीएम टाइटल डोंट स्ट्रीम, नहीं नहीं राकेश भाई जीएम टाइटल नहीं, वो नहीं खेल सकते वुमेन्स वर्ल्ड कप अनफॉर्चुनेटली, ही वुड लव टू प्ले. Okay, games by the way start in 5 minutes. Amazing, glad to know that. And players of course पहले ही board पे आ जाएंगे. The thing is कि you want to come at the board, calm yourself down. In fact, round one से पहले players were basically just closing their eyes. हम्पी 2-2.5 मिनट तक बैठी हुई थी, just eyes बंद करके relaxing. And Divya even she showed up first, had closed her eyes, or meditating. I think ये meditation बहुत common हो गया top circles में, chess के राकेश भाई.
बिल्कुल, आई थिंक ये इंडियन स्टार्स ने ये ट्रेंड चालू किया है वैसे, तो
Yeah.
नाइस
And
फॉर
VD
दैट.
भाई को आई
अरे
थिंक
आपकी
एक
बात हुई है ना श्रीनाथ से, बाय द वे, टिकू भाई?
हाँ 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 हाँ, he will be there
टू
hopefully.
मिनट्स, 2 minutes. We will have a grandmaster with us joining us in 2 minutes.
याप एंड राकेश भाई, क्या प्रेडिक्शन है आपकी भाई, आप अपनी प्रेडिक्शन बताओ फॉर द फाइनल गेम.
I feel, I don't know, I just feel Humpy might just take this one. लग रहा है ऐसे, intuition.
चैट व्हाट डू यू थिंक, हम्पी दिव्या या ड्रॉ एंड वी गो टू द नेक्स्ट राउंड.
I would love that, for just for content की ये लोग draw ही करते रहे और फिर 3+2 में decide हो. But
हम्म.
it would be great. I think वो Women's World Rapid title ना is just थोड़ा
हाँ
तो
इट्स
pressure होगा ही यार उसका भी.
हाँ, I think you have to kind of forget कि your opponent is the women's, world rapid champion. I think you have to focus on कि she's human as well and she can make mistakes. खाना कब खाओगे भाई, खाना पता नहीं भाई, अभी के लिए तो भाई सिर्फ स्ट्रीम कर रहे हैं. एंड वील सी लंच लेटर. आई थिंक प्लेयर्स जब खाएंगे हम भी तभी खाएंगे भाई. हम तो
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, you never know. मतलब many people are saying रेटी ओपनिंग हो सकती है, और कुछ लोग भाई, I love it, when this is when chess will actually become big, when when chat is also saying, जैसे क्रिकेट में डिस्कस करता है, अरे ऐसा बॉल ऐसा डालना चाहिए. So chat is also saying maybe दिव्या ना किंग्स इंडियन ओपनिंग खेलो, या
ओह.
हम्पी जी बोल रहे आप रेटी ओपनिंग खेलना. So
And
this
there is
this is
Divya. Let's
amazing.
go. Divya OP in the chat. And जो Humpy आएगी तो Humpy OP in the chat because this might be the final game of the World Cup. By the way,
Yeah.
FIDE asked Divya this question कि आप हर गेम में बनाना लेके आते हो पर आप कभी खाते नहीं हो. They legit asked that question yesterday, and they were wondering कि if it's like a superstition, right? It's a lucky charm or something. And Divya says नहीं नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. I want to eat it, but the game gets so tense कि मुझे खाने को मिलता ही नहीं है. And कल तो रैपिड है तो और कम चांस है कि खाने को मिलेगा. So Rakesh, but honest, do you think it's a lucky charm though?
हो सकता है, लाइक सुपरस्टिशियस काफी चेस प्लेयर्स
हाँ.
होते हैं, एंड दिव्या पुट एडजस्टिंग द क्लॉक. और आई थिंक साहिल, वो हो सकता है एक बार ना राउंड वन में अगर आप कुछ करो और जीत जाए, तो यू जस्ट वांट
Hmm.
टू कीप रिपीटिंग द सेम थिंग. बट आई एम श्योर, आई थिंक वो केला नया होगा,
Yeah,
बिकॉज
yeah, I'm sure.
अदरवाइज
Same रहा नहीं होगा भाई. Of course भाई.
या.
Same day round one से नहीं भाई. We are not
बट
greedy. We don't
साहिल,
repeat
आई
the
यूज्ड
same
टू डू इट,
shot.
आई डोंट नो अबाउट यू, बट आई यूज्ड टू इफ हैव लाइक अ लकी पेन. अगर एक पहला गेम जीत गया तो वही पेन से
Hmm.
लिखता था, अगर ड्रॉ या हार जाता तो चेंज कर देता था.
Yeah,
व्हाट अबाउट
true,
यू?
true. नहीं even I had some of these. Brana company sponsor है भाई. Brana में कौन सा ब्रांड का नाम लिखा होता है भाई? तो I don't think so. That's a sponsor there. And of course, both players having one water bottle. In fact, Divya just kind of took that long breath aate hi. Like, she can feel the nerves. She's trying to calm herself down. Constant movements hand ke dikh rahe hain. And Humpy will also arrive. Divya OP in the chat. Let's go. एक बार spam कर दो chat. And then जैसी Humpy आएगी, Humpy OP as well. This could be the final game. And we could have an Indian World Cup winner in just about half an hour from now.
True, true. By chat, like to go. We are around 222 शायद. Yeah, let's try to get to 500 likes. Or yeah, chat. We have a very, very special guest amongst us, coach of the Indian Olympiad team that won gold in Budapest, Grandmaster Srinath Narayan. Srinath bhai, we'll be having you very, very soon on camera so you can say hello to chat.
Hi, guys. Hi, Rakesh. Hi, Sahil. Hi, everyone in the chat.
यो श्री भाई, मेरी कुर्सी क्यों चोरी कर ली आपने?
I think everyone has the same kursi.
हाँ दैट्स ट्रू यार आई थिंक सेम टाइम पे सबने एक ही ब्रांड से लिया है. श्री भाई वुड लव टू गेट योर ओपिनियन. डिड यू फॉलो गेम वन एंड हु डू यू फील इज मोर इन कंट्रोल ऑफ द नर्व्स हियर बिकॉज आई थिंक यहाँ पे स्किल तो दोनों के पास है ही. इट्स ऑल गोइंग टू हैंडलिंग नर्व्स इन दिस पोजिशन.
It's I think a incredible battle of opposites. Humpy's so high school and Divya's I think so
Mm-hmm.
aggressive. Uh, I felt maybe Humpy had slightly more chances in the beginning, but Divya really struck back in the time trouble. So in terms of nerves, it seems like Humpy has control a little more. But the thing is, it can change in 1 second in a critical moment, and especially Humpy, getting prone to time trouble. So uh, really hard to say. But
Yeah.
I think a slight edge to Humpy.
Yeah, have to agree with that. And Divya, by the way, coming and sitting on the board like 5 minutes, 6 minutes before Humpy. Like, is it like a thing she likes to sit at the board and calm herself down? Because you know Divya very well. Yeah, so what's the thing there? Because why the difference?
Uh, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how she is in recent times. Uh, so not uh, quite sure how she's preparing in between the games and why she's out there so early. I can totally imagine Humpy checking something last minute, going to her room and coming back. And
Wow.
that's usually the common thing in between tie breaks. You quickly go, you talk to your second, you quickly check a little bit of improvement from the previous game, and you come back. But with Divya coming straight back to the board, not quite sure what message it sends. I have everything sorted. I have everything prepared. I don't need to check anything in between.
True, and I can see some more seats. वहीं जाके हम वहीं से कमेंट्री कर लेते राकेश भाई. काश यार ऐसा मुझे लग रहा है. इतना टेंशन
बिल्कुल
होगा ना
बिल्कुल.
अभी टूर्नामेंट हॉल में नहीं.
Absolutely, the stakes are super high. And Shri, we'll have our first Indian player to win a Women's World Cup. So many titles for India everywhere. Just like how proud of you, how proud are you of these two players here, bringing another title home?
I'm super proud. I think it's amazing, amazing thing. Especially the amazing thing about it is the contrast. One is a 19-year-old and another is a 30-year-old champion, which shows that we have been there for a really long time, and also that our future is also in safe hands. Covers both bases. So incredibly proud feeling, and also the other two players were right up there till the quarterfinals. Out of eight, four of them are Indians. In the semis also out of four, two of them are Indians.
Yeah,
So, and we won both the games against some of the best players in the world from China.
yeah,
So, an incredibly proud feeling. We had that in the Open World Cup as well, four of them in the quarterfinals. And we
Mhm.
have that in the women as well. So, incredibly proud. And it's a great feeling. I can't imagine in many other places where we dominate as a country like we do in chess.
अग्रीड. क्रिकेट में तो कई बार ड्रॉ के लिए इतना फाइट करना पड़ता है श्रीनाथ भाई. आई हैव टू क्वेश्चंस फॉर यू. नंबर वन, पहले थोड़ा सा दोस्ती थोड़ी आपकी दोस्त तोड़वा देते हैं. सो हु डू यू थिंक विल विन एट द एंड अभी?
Like I said, I think slight chances to Humpy, a slight edge to Humpy. So if I had to pick one, yeah.
एंड राकेश भाई,
Uh,
आप व्हाट डू यू थिंक?
I would say Humpy as well.
वाओ, सो 2-0 ऑफ द मैच. आई सपोर्ट दिव्या. देन लेट्स सी क्या होता है. एंड चैट अपनी प्रेफरेंस चैट में डाल दो, जल्दी से स्पैम कर दो बिकॉज दिस कुड बी द फाइनल गेम. एंड श्री भाई, डू यू थिंक वी विल गेट द रिजल्ट हियर एंड हम्पी इज देयर एज वेल? लेट्स गो. और डू यू थिंक विल गो टू द नेक्स्ट गेम एज वेल? क्या लग रहा है श्री भाई?
I think we'll go to the next game. I think we'll go to the Blitz. What do you guys think?
I would love to go to the Blitz, bhai. That will
Yeah,
be
same.
insane, actually.
Just try to get more blitz, more content as well, personally. But it's just so difficult to choose a champion here. Both of them very well deserving. But yeah, we'll see if the reigning women's world champion can finish it off in rapid, or we'll have the blitz tie breaks. Shri, popular debate. I have to ask you this: कि क्या आप ये दोनों प्लेयर्स के साथ काम किया है आपने पहले?
Ooh.
And
Uh,
answers in Hindi, please. It's what chat is. Anshika is especially asking.
मैंने किया है in some capacity or other. काम किया
हाँ.
है मैंने दोनों के साथ. but दोनों long time back.
Hmm.
Okay.
Got it.
So not
Got it.
not not in recent times.
And look at Humpy. She's
Wow.
also kind of calming herself down, eyes closed. Like, no, like just trying to calm down her nerves. You would say she's a veteran at this. She's done this so many times, but the stakes are so high, even she can't control the nerves showing up. So, Shri, like, what do you think? Like, what thoughts does she have right now, or does she have no thoughts in her mind?
She's trying to get to a state where she has no thoughts in her mind, but I think it just comes something about the past, something about the future. All these thoughts keep raising, and then you become aware of it, and then you're like, come back to the present, focus on what's important. But inevitably, thoughts keep flashing about the past, about the future. And the thing is, although she has done it so many times, it doesn't get easier. It gets more and more challenging with each time. That is a problem. So
Hmm.
it's not something that ever gets easier.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
it's
one
like
said,
being, yeah, it's like just streaming these events. Crazy schedule. We think it's going to be easy, but we always end up having some day one issues or something. But yeah, also I wanted to quickly check, Srinath, that do you think India will get its 87th Grandmaster today? Because chat, if Divya wins, she becomes a Grandmaster.
Wait, it should be 88, no? Because I
88th or
remember
89th.
someone else
Yes.
became
Yes.
87
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah. Yeah, 87th. I
Uh,
think Rakesh भाई
Hari Krishnan,
मैथ्स
right?
थोड़ी कमजोर है.
Hari Krishnan
मैथ्स
was
थोड़ी कमजोर है.
86, right? Who else became?
Hari
No,
Krishna Hare was 87,
Sri
right?
Hari was 86.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Sri
yeah,
Hari.
yeah.
Okay, 88th then.
Yeah. So I think Divya is very likely to become the 88th Grandmaster sooner or later. But regarding today, I think it's about 45-55 for I think 55 Humpy and 45 Divya as of now.
Hmm.
Okay.
But again, things can change really quickly. Divya is super resourceful. I met Divya for the first time ever in World Under 16 Olympiad, where I also met Arjun for the first time.
Hmm.
And my first thought looking at Divya after looking at her play a few games was I felt she was like MS Dhoni. She had such an
Oh.
amazing ability to ace these last game situations. So in that tournament, also
Oh.
in the last round, we were playing against Iran, and we were so evenly matched in the first three boards. Arjun played against Ali Reza on the first board, and then we both had grandmasters, people who are grandmasters now in the top three boards. So all of them ended in a draw. And on the fourth board were two girls playing, Divya and the Iranian girl, who was also quite strong. She was around 2170, Divya was around 2200. And Divya clutched that moment. She won a beautiful game in night off. That was one
Wow.
instance. Then in the 2020 online Olympiad against China, where we had to defeat China, and we ended up defeating China 4-2. So there also Divya
Wow.
defeated a high Chinese opponent. And so she has several such instances where she would somehow manage to clutch in the last minute. And so that's her strength. Humpy on the other side is incredibly difficult to defeat. I've played so
Oh,
many
we have lift
tournaments
off.
I,
with her and
Shri,
yeah,
Shri, D4 on the board. Let's go. And Shri, I think that's a great point, right? Both of them have that clutch moment ability, and that's why they have reached the finals. The World Cup format is so good for somebody who can clutch those tiebreaker games. And Shri, क्या लग रहा है यहाँ पे कि
oh my
पहला
God,
क्या हुआ?
Streets Catalan.
Oh!
Wow.
wow. Amazing. What a moment to
तो
join.
तो श्री भाई
Crazy है.
आप जॉर्जिया कब पहुंचे? बिकॉज
आजी
श्री
आजी
वहीं बैठ के आई थिंक बिना डिले के उनको पता लग गया था कि भाई कैटलन होने वाला है. सो नाउ ही इज बिशप बी4 चेक. श्री, व्हाट कैन यू टेल अस अबाउट दिस ओपनिंग हियर?
So one of the openings where white sacrifices the pawn, but gets a lot of compensation because of the bishop on g2, and usually white manages to get the pawn back pretty soon. Now after bishop b4 check, I think bishop d2 is the main move. Yeah, that's what she goes for. Black defends with a5 for the moment. White will castle now and then play the queen to c2 or c1, try and take the c4 pawn back pretty soon.
Wow. And फिलहाल के लिए Divya already has a 1 minute edge on the clock. Does that tell us something, Shri and Rakesh, or do you think this is just coincidence? Humpy is just trying to remember her lines.
I think that's a question Srinath could answer really well because he has a lifetime course on the
Yeah.
Catalan opening year, and I'll just link it in the chat for anyone who'd like to buy and play it like Srinath or Humpy.
एंड जस्ट टू ऐड, अगर यहाँ B3 होता तो अधिबान वुड हैव पहले से 15 मिनट पहले आ जाता वहां पे तो
Bro, they don't play they don't play B3 in the World Cup finals, at least not as of now.
ट्रू
Maybe Prague might do it someday.
या एंड फिलहाल
No,
के
but
लिए
I think
ओह लुक
Humpy
एट
is trying to recollect her prep.
2 minutes down, Shri. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very typical for Humpy to take her time in the beginning to recollect her prep. And quite often she doesn't manage to do it successfully. That happened in the first game when she played black in the classical. In the Queen's Gambit accepted, on the seventh move, she went off her prep. And I think it's become normal now for everyone to forget their prep because there's just so much to learn. But yeah, with Humpy also it happens quite often.
Yeah, and 2 minutes after a
Queen
deep think,
C2
I think.
played. Shri, is that the one? Is that the line you recommend?
Yeah, so till now we are following a very conventional path. But after Queen C2, it's Bishop into D2 also the main move. And now White, although it seems very natural to recapture with the Knight, quite often White captures with the Queen so that they can attack the C4 pawn with Knight to A3. Whereas if you
Oh.
capture with the Knight, Black can defend that pawn sometimes with B5. But if the Knight attacks from A3, Black cannot defend that pawn with B5. So with Queen into D2, they go Knight A3 on the next move. And now if
Humpy.
Black tries to defend with B5, White often has this move Queen to G5. But Humpy takes with
Humpy.
the Knight.
Yeah, she takes with the knight. I'm very curious, like how aware she is about this line. Any chance like she's not seen this line before, Shri?
I think it's very unlikely that she has not seen this line before. But two possibilities: either she deviated, this is her prep, or it's also entirely possible that she doesn't quite recollect. Because I don't think Catalan is Humpy's main opening. Of course, she plays a lot of 1d4, but Catalan is not her main opening. And Humpy is someone who has maintained her same openings for large parts of her career. She has, stuck to her openings, but in recent times, she's trying to surprise, she's trying to adapt. And in doing so, she's adding new lines quite late in her career, which naturally is more harder to add new things.
And question
Shri,
now. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
yeah. It's like A4, C6. It looks like Divya is blitzing it out. Has she like kind of out prepped Humpy in this one, Srinath?
It certainly seems so till now, but we can't be entirely sure. Again, if Humpy is, trying to recall her prep, or if Humpy is truly out of book. It's very unlikely, I feel, that she's out of book, but I think it's entirely possible that she doesn't quite recall what her prep is. In that case, Divya would have certainly out-prepared Humpy. But I feel that is also not a defining factor necessarily in the match because still there is a very long game ahead and the position is very complex. So in these types of
Yeah.
positions, White remains a pawn down, but it is very difficult for Black to develop the queen side pieces. As you see, with pawns on c6, b5, and c4, all on light squares, and another pawn on e6, the Black bishop on c8 doesn't usually have a very nice path to come out. And this knight on b8 also remains stuck on b8 because there will always be pressure on the c6 pawn because of the bishop on g2 and the knight later moving. So due to these factors, Black will find it difficult to develop the queen side pieces. But on the other hand, Black will be a pawn up. So it's that kind of a dynamic positional battle.
There's a very important question in the chat by GM Gukesh. What is the format? Will there be tiebreaks, Rakesh bhai?
Yeah, there might be. So if anybody wins this game, is the Women's World Cup winner. As simple as that. If they draw this, then we go into two more games of rapid chess, 10 plus 10 time control. So yeah, even if like Humpy wins or Divya wins, we will have a new world champion.
Yeah, regardless,
Yep.
both the
Winner takes it
players
all.
are in the candidates, Sri bhai. And what do you feel about that? We have two confirmed spots in the women's candidates. We might have both the world champions now, Open V, Women V.
Yeah, that would be the dream actually, and that would be really nice if it happens. And Humpy was, I think, already really close last time, and she's always been
Mhm.
consistent in all the different classical tournaments that she has played. Humpy, she has played B3 on board, right? B3 singing to B3, and
Yeah,
now
Yeah.
she takes the knight.
yeah.
So I think we are following the general, typical ideas so far in this position. The queen on c2 also exerts pressure on the c6 pawn, which again makes it a bit difficult for the knight on b8 to develop. And these positions, even if you don't exactly remember what your preparation is as white, you can still play, I think, because for
Hmm.
white, the moves are easy. Next, she will castle, then the knight goes to e5. Black, it's a little more tricky uh, to figure things out on the board if you don't have it already prepped.
And I have a question. So you understand this better than most, Sri. If you were given this position, would you play it with white, the pawn down, but with some initiative? Or would you play it with black with the extra pawn?
If I'm not prepped, I will definitely take white.
Mm,
If I have
very
concrete
interesting.
prep, then with black, it's possible sometimes to even outplay your opponent to get a win with black. But if I don't have concrete prep where the engine has shown me what to play, then I would prefer white.
Bishop a6 played, by the way, literally in 3 seconds by Divya. So as of now, look at the time difference, Rakesh, by 6 minutes already. Divya has gained time in this position after 12 moves, and Humpy using a lot. And she put it correctly, like maybe Humpy is not that prepared, but her moves are maybe a bit more obvious. But she is taking a lot more time. Rakesh, bhai, kya lag raha hai? Do you think कि भाई आज Divya might out prepare Humpy?
Quite possible. And with short castle, bishop a6, we enter into some well-known transpositions, and suddenly, we have games of Maksudlu, Hans Niemann has played this as white, Ronak has played this as white. So, Shreya, are we like still in that opening jungle, or we are about to see some good opening prep by other players?
Yeah, I think we are still in the opening jungle. Still, it clearly looks like Divya's still prepared here, and it certainly looks like
Yeah.
Humpy at least doesn't remember her prep. So, so far, it looks like it's going well for Divya.
Oof, and Humpy ka time 7 minutes down now. Chat, I'm going to ask you again. Have
Yeah.
your predictions changed? Would you say who's your favorite now? This game decides everything. There is no more games if one person wins. Srinath, you said Humpy was the slight favorite. Has your prediction changed a little bit here?
Not totally. Not totally. I think this game is still the favorite to become a draw. I think it will go a lot longer today before it gets decided. But yeah, I certainly don't see Humpy having great chances in this game at this point.
Hmm. Very interesting. And Divya, 16 minutes indeed, Anshika. That's a lot of time. And 8 minutes, it's double time now, Rakesh. I mean, and she plays knight to c5, which I think is not the best move, at least in the
And
position.
Divya blitzes B. Yeah,
Bill takes
child,
a4,
Divya blitzes B into A4.
but that's not the best move. Apparently, b4 was the best. Shri, why Bill takes a4? Usually, you don't play such moves, yeah?
It just liquidates everything, Sahil. So b takes a4, it opens up the bishop on a6, and basically the more pawns you trade, the closer you're getting towards an equal position. Yeah, and white, if you exchange that a6 bishop with the knight, then you solve one of the black's biggest problems, which is the development of the queenside bishop. But if you don't trade that, then the bishop comes to b5, and once the
Hmm.
bishop comes to b5, it cannot be attacked by any of white's pieces immediately.
Yeah, that's a good point, and that's why Humpy chops off that bishop in a second. Now Rook takes, and maybe that is a point. Maybe Divya thinks, maybe the advantage is not so clear, and she is going for a draw, Rakesh.
Yeah, looks like we might have another set of rapid games coming up.
That would be insane. And now a4 pawn. Which piece do we take it with, Sri? Do we take it with the queen, the rook, or do we play something else completely?
I would take it with the rook. I'd take it with the rook. I'd put another rook on e1 and try and exert pressure on the a5 pawn. I try to do it as fast as possible before black has time to bring pieces to defend the a5 pawn.
Hmm. Yep, she does stick with
Yeah,
the rook. Humpy now moving a lot faster. Even the clock with Divya बहुत आगे है. I think Divya's pawn structure is quite bad. ऐसे random pawns, couple of weaknesses there. Yeah, and chat क्या लग रहा है यार? Predictions डालते रहो because they will constantly change basing on the position. Rakesh bhai, how much time will Divya take now?
I think Divya will probably have her first think of the game. Okay, opening stage looks like it's completed. She'll think where to put her knight, but no, she plays knight d7 immediately.
Wow.
Sri, what a show of confidence by Divya, right?
Absolutely. It's also very unnerving when your opponent plays moves like this instantly, because then you're not playing a human, you're actually playing stockfish.
Yeah,
So it's very
Yeah,
unnerving.
yeah.
And you also kind of start wondering where does this prep end?
yeah.
Hmm.
True, and maybe we can go full screen and try to grab these moments because I can see Divya a little bit tense. Maybe this is where her preparation ends. And Humpy, as usual, calm. Yeah, I think I have not seen somebody so calm. And Shri, I don't know if you noticed this. You were wondering कि पिछली गेम में दिव्या क्लॉक की तरफ कम से कम 100 बार उन्होंने नजर मारा एंड हम्पी डिड नॉट लुक एट द क्लॉक इवन वंस इवन व्हेन शी हैड 30 seconds. How does she have that skill, Shri?
Uh, I don't know. I don't know how she has that skill. If I did, I would also have that skill.
Because that is insane actually. When you have no time on the clock, you just don't even glance at it. You have the confidence ki bhai. And now Ruke one played, so he doubles up Rakesh bhai. And yaha a couple of weaknesses for black. It's not gonna be easy to use that extra pawn.
Not
So,
at all,
Sahil,
I think.
players who are used to being low on time, they have more
Hmm.
confidence when they are low on time, as opposed to
Hmm.
people who play fast. Like, let's take the example of Nihal and let's take the example of Arjun. Arjun
Hmm.
really plays fast because he's not comfortable being low on time. So,
Hmm.
although he has the ability to play super fast, when he gets low on time, he's not as confident as, let's say, someone like Nihal, who used to get low on time every single game. So, he's so used to it. And in a
Oh, so
position with low on time, the person who plays fast is more likely to blunder, paradoxically.
प्रोड्यूसर साहब ये क्लिप बाद में वो ट्रिम कर देना क्योंकि अर्जुन की वीकनेस उनके कोच के द्वारा ब्रॉडकास्ट की जा रही है तो उसके उनके फॉर्मर कोच के द्वारा तो ये एडिट कर देना कल को अर्जुन वर्ल्ड चैंपियन के लिए खेलेगा या कुछ के लिए खेलेगा तो वर्ल्ड कप में तो कैन बी यूटिलाइज्ड बाय हिज ओपोनेंट्स
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it in the India stream.
yeah, exactly. And meanwhile, Rook A1 doubling up rooks, Humpy having a first thing, and yeah, I think फिलहाल के लिए highest probability of a draw. Would that be correct, Shri?
I think so, yeah. I think so, but again, you never know till the end moment because as we saw in the last game, things go really even till a certain point and then suddenly things explode when low on time. So
Hmm.
Divya is having her first think of the game, and these situations are the most dangerous, Sahil, because till now you're not exact. You're using a different part of your brain. You're using the recall part. You're using the memory.
Hmm.
But now you have to use a different part of your brain, the calculation part. You have to actually solve problem.
Hmm.
And quite often, the first move after your opening ends is actually the most dangerous part. If you play
Yeah.
that correctly, then you are safe.
Yep. And GM Gukesh in the chat has another question कि इसके बाद एक और 30 मिनट का रैपिड होगा कि 5 मिनट का ब्लिट्स होगा जो बंदा बीच में खड़ा है उसने कहा रैपिड होगा राकेश भाई यू वांट काउंटर जीएम गुकेश कमेंट
Yeah, so it's going to be 10 plus 10. So slightly shorter instead of 15 plus 10, 10 plus 10 time control we will see. And how does Divya get a GM title? Indian engineer, it is because she does something that is like a FIDE title win. So she gets the GM title directly apart, like unless like Srinath who had to toil for 7 years or something for the three norms and rating.
It's like Harry Potter may in Quidditch, you can either score a
ah
goal or you can capture the golden snitch.
yeah
If you capture the
yeah
golden snitch, the game ends immediately.
yeah
Winning World Cup is like
great
capturing the snitch.
Wow.
that's a great comparison actually भाई श्रीनाथ भाई एनालॉजीज प्रो मैक्स बनते जा रहे हैं व्हाट एनालॉजी बाय द वे राकेश भाई नहीं
Amazing. And Anshika reminding me it was actually 9 years. So,
शिखा इज लाइक नहीं नहीं मैं देखा है दो
but
साल और
yeah,
लगे थे यार
lovely. And
Yeah, Anshika can relate with her neat journey.
नाइस नाइस मीनवाइल दोनों प्लेयर्स वहां पे दे स्टिल लुक स्ट्रेस्ड By the way, do you think कि during the game players are like कि अरे यार अभी और blitz खेलना पड़ेगा? Like, would the players prefer कि it ends in two games, or would they prefer it goes really deep? Because somebody will get tired more than the other.
That depends on whether you win or lose.
भाई ये तो no, I mean in the current moment, let's say now right now they don't know, right? But who do you think is more likely to get tired basically after let's say more number of games?
I think Humpy is likely to get tired because of the age.
Hmm.
But on the other hand, Divya has not played a single match over 4 games so far, whereas Humpy has
Ooh.
had that experience several times. So for
Yeah.
Divya, it will be a unknown territory for the first time. So that is also a factor, I think.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah. And
great point, Srinath. We remember Humpy winning that semi-final against Litinji that went over 7-8 games versus Divya has not even in fact played a 10+10 game in Batumi.
Yep. And both of them will also, I think, be supremely motivated. The factor also being, an Indian playing against another Indian. And Humpy, who has long time been the number one undisputed player in India, she will
yeah,
want to keep,
Hmm.
she'll want to keep that position.
that is true. That is indeed true. And in fact, हम कल ही बात कर रहे थे कि FIDE की जो top four seeds थे इस tournament के लिए, three of them made it to the semifinals. Divya was the only outlier, and she has reached the finals. If she wins, it would be historic. And now she brings the second rook to A8. So she is backing all her resources on that A pawn, Shri. Any chance for Divya here to utilize that extra pawn?
Uh, yeah, quite possible. Quite possible. If she, gets out from this pressure, then in the future the A pawn can play a decisive role. But right now, it seems more likely that White will be able to capture the A pawn. She will be
Hmm.
able to, attack with more pieces. The knight coming to C4. So first D4 needs to be defended with E3 or something. And then after the knight comes to C4, the queen can attack it from either D2 or C3. Whereas black doesn't have more pieces to come and defend the a5 pawn. So in that situation, what black is likely to do is black will try to exchange the d4 pawn with her c6 pawn with a c5.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
eventually that can lead to a position where both sides
Hmm.
have 4 pawns against 4 on the same side.
Very interesting. And just to point out, it is 5.5 minutes for Koneru Humpy and 11.5 for Divya Deshmukh. So, chat, if Humpy can kind of liquidate matters, as Sri said, just trade these couple of pawns, maybe even grab this pawn and a5 somehow, quickly play these moves, then it's okay. But if he's not able to do so, I think Divya will have a chance thanks to her lead on the clock. And chat, बहुत pressure. Rakesh bhai, do you think Humpy is feeling some pressure on the clock? Do you think she's comfortable कि ठीक है यार, I'm going to get the pawn back?
Yeah, I think she is comfortable. She's just trying to find the best way uh, to, put pressure on Divya, but time might be an issue if it goes under 2 minutes. So I think 5 minutes is like still a good cushion.
Very interesting.
I agree.
So, Yashi, please continue.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what Rakesh is saying.
Yeah, very interesting. And no move still. Less than 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 40 seconds. भाई almost 3 गुना time है भाई. अब चल क्या रहा है? What is Humpy thinking?
Bro, this happens a lot.
I'm not
It happens a
sure, but
lot where
what I am thinking.
राकेश भाई की आवाज बस मेरे चेस की तरह कभी कभी चलती है. भाई राकेश भाई कहाँ हो
So
भाई? By the way, she defends the pawn. She, to your point, defending that center and trying to bring knight c4. But Divya says knight d5. Up e4 nahi khel raha, I'm going to put the knight here. This can later on potentially come to b4, attack the queen, and also blocks the bishop, I think, more importantly.
yeah, it blocks the bishop and it also blocks later the queen from attacking the a5 pawn. Let's say you do a queen d2 later, the knight
Yeah.
goes to b4 and protects it from there,
Yeah.
obstructing white's attack. So Divya is trying to hold on to that a5 pawn for as long as she can,
Hmm.
and Humpy is trying to get the pawn as quickly as she can. And until she gets that pawn back, I think there will be a little bit of uncertainty for Humpy as well.
The uncertainty is rising. 3.5 minutes for Koneru Humpy. She needs to decide right about now. If she gets below 1 minute, I know she's calm. She doesn't show nerves, but it will play on her mind. She will not have the time to calculate the best moves. Divya Deshmukh could potentially, and we saw a blunder for Humpy in the last game, right? Rook D1 aa gaya. She got the queen for the
Yeah,
rook and bishop. So anything is possible, Rakesh bhai.
absolutely, absolutely. I think uh this is the moment Humpy has to start playing quickly. The momentum might shift, and blunders can happen in time pressure.
Yeah, it is difficult and still no moves under 3 minutes now. Divya must be feeling a bit confident. We've not seen her glance at the clock, Shri. By the way, Shri, do you get sometimes confident? कई बार अगर opponent का time कम हो तो clock पे.
Yeah, I do. I do. I am someone who looks at the clock all the time, and I'm someone who generally tries to have more time on the clock. So, yes.
Wow. Knight c4. So queen. I think queen probably wants to maintain protection here. So queen c7 or queen d8. One of these moves, or queen a7 for that matter, actually, will be played. And Divya has to make that choice. She has a lot of time on the clock here, chat. As of now, Charlie, you can make your final predictions, maybe, I think, for this game, because I think now we have a clear structure. Humpy trying to grab the pawn. She has the position, but not the time. Who do you think wins this one? Or will we have a draw? We'll go to the next one. Is it knight c4 repetition? It's not repetition at all, because black is not forced to repeat. How do you repeat the move? Do you see repetition here, Sri?
No, I don't get.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's an amazing comment by somebody in chat like, क्या फायदा जीत भी गई तो चीटिंग है तो दिव्या शुड इन्फॉर्म हम्पी दैट उसका टाइम कम हो रहा है.
By the way, chat, when you're starting
But yeah,
chess, कई
Shri,
बार
on that note, India is sorry, go ahead.
नहीं कट कट continue, Shri, continue. आगे जाए.
Yeah, I was saying like title comes to India, which is great. What about the Open World Cup in India? Do you have any updates there for us?
I wish I did, but absolutely no updates there. The only update I have is from Chesscom India only. That it might happen in Goa.
So, would you prefer it happening in Goa or would you prefer it happening in Delhi, Shri?
Goa.
दिया भाई. एक बंदा मुझे दिख जाए ना जो दिल्ली बोलने वाला है तो मैं कह दूं चलो कर दो दिल्ली में. एक बंदा नहीं मिल रहा है भाई जो कहे कि दिल्ली में रखो. So I don't know why there's a debate. Hopefully it does happen in Goa. And as of now, Queen D2, Shri, your move on the board, pressuring that A5 pawn, and I think it's about to fall soon.
Yeah, no way to defend
Yeah.
it. And maybe it's like an indirect draw for us, well, right? No, is there any chance, Srinath, for White to push after getting the pawn?
Uh, it's difficult. I think there's not much. Also, it's an instructive variation that if black tries to still defend the pawn with knight b4, I think white can
Mhm.
still take knight into a5
Yeah,
because the b4 knight is hanging. And
exactly. And
that is an important point.
she played knight b6 instead. So now she's saying, if you take on a5, I take your rook. So that's a clever thing. Like but okay, I can anyways take on b6, no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
take
the
on
only
b6 first, and then I wonder what Divya's intention is. Is she taking with the queen? So that way she's delaying white's recapture of the a5 pawn. But
Yeah, on the board.
Wow. She finds a way. She finds a way to hold on for now. जीएम गुकेश कह रहे हैं चैट में, बाय द वे, गोवा में टूरिस्ट वैसे भी बहुत बढ़ गए हैं. गुकेश भाई मुझे लगा था कुछ और कर रहे होंगे अभी, बट ग्लैड टू नो ही इज एंजॉयिंग द स्ट्रीम.
yeah,
Yeah, always nice to
absolutely.
have the world champion in chat and commenting.
By the way, knight अपने queen c3. So Shri, is she going to take the c6 pawn now? Is that the plan? Okay, she can't
There
yet.
will be
So
dual pressure, one on c6 and one on a5. Parallel pressure on both the pawns, and because of this, it's going to be difficult for black to make much improvement. But on the other hand, Divya is also going to ask, like, how are you going to capture? How are you going to make progress? And as Divya keeps the game going longer and longer, Humpy is also going to get shorter and shorter on time. And then Divya might try and change the equilibrium a bit. But right now, Divya is controlling the game.
that
Humpy
is
down under 2 minutes, Sahil. Things are heating up.
what is happening, chat. We think this is a draw, बट टाइम सिचुएशन इतनी खराब है हम्पी के लिए कि अगर गलती से ये बाइंड एक बार टूट गई, then Humpy could just be lost, and she plays rook c1 to put pressure on this pawn, which is knight d5 street to kind of block the bishop.
Yeah, eventually I see this rook coming to c5. So it attacks both the c6 and the a5 pawn
Hmm.
together. And meanwhile, the queen and rook attacks the a5 pawn. The bishop and rook attack the c6 pawn. Two attackers on both. And the rook on c5 is an extra attacker. So
Hmm.
three pieces on a5, two pieces on c6. And they combine to make sure that black's pieces also are not going anywhere. So yeah,
Hmm.
you can be an extra pawn up, but where are you going with your pieces? How are you making an improvement?
That's a great
That's
insight. Like,
what.
जो सहज भाई तो definitely है, तो वो कहते हैं golden pawn मत push करो.
Yeah, and GM Gukesh in the chat
Oh,
agrees
what?
Humpy might get flagged.
She took on d5.
Bishop d5.
What?
That seems interesting.
But wait, why not c takes d5? Why e takes d5?
C takes d5,
Yeah,
there's queen c8 check, no?
queen
But
d8.
queen d8?
Yeah, that's possible.
But okay, I
Queen
think
c8,
e
queen
takes.
d.
Yeah, we can continue there. Yeah.
I think queen into d8, rook into d8, rook c5 might be a draw there.
Yeah, maybe she was worried this is too equal. Yeah, she takes with the e pawn, and now rook say see a1 back. So now there are no minor pieces. It's simply an extra pawn, but white has blocked everything. Shri, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, if you had to distribute percentages, win for white,
Mhm.
draw, win for black, क्या distribution होगा 100% में से?
I think 90% it's a draw, but 95% it's a draw, but 5% for black win. And
Hmm.
I don't see white winning from here.
Very interesting. Chat, what's your percentage of, let's say, a Divya win here out of 100? Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it less? Rakesh, what's your percentage?
I agree with Sri. Very like 5% chance.
Yep. And 1 minute 19 seconds for Koneru Humpy, 8 minutes 40 seconds for Divya Deshmukh. Divya can use a lot of time here. ये extra game में साथ carry forward नहीं कर सकती. She can use the time to find the best potential plan. Shri, is there a potential to potentially start pushing the H pawn? I don't know. Create some dual attack, somehow move the queen, or am I just too ambitious here? I don't know.
So you have to try something like that. H5 on G6 पे डाल
Hmm.
के then you move a little bit here and there and see what white is doing. Uh, I don't see a concrete way because without moving the rooks, I don't see how black can improve. But at least you move these pawns a little bit here and there and
Hmm.
see what white does.
Yeah. Wow. Divya still contemplating what is her best chance. She plays h6, king g2 played by Humpy, and now she plays queen to b5. So not really, committing to anything, a clear plan. Humpy plays h3 instead. Similar to the last game, I think. Like both players know it's a draw. याद है वो राकेश भाई endgame? Queen bishop rook. It's a draw, but both players kept trying for a long
Ah,
time.
yeah, and but
Yeah,
overall, Srinath, looking at both the games, it looks like Divya is the one pushing in both the games.
definitely. Last game also she was pushing after a certain point. Although the beginning I think Humpy was a little bit better. But in this game, right from the opening, Divya has been the one pushing, and it seems like Divya's opening preparation is also super sharp. So that seems to be a little bit of an edge that Divya has on the opening.
Queen
Wow. And she
Now
b6
she's
plays.
trying to
back.
counter this,
Wow.
but so
Yeah,
far
Shri.
her counters trying to surprise Divya hasn't worked in her favor.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Oh man, this is getting tense. I still think there's potential to go wrong because 1 minute है हम्पी के पास and Rook A2. Okay, just keeping it solid.
Humpy is going to do the wait and watch strategy, just defending everything and keeping an eye on the a5 pawn, whereas it's Divya who has to come up with a plan.
Some people in the chat
Yeah,
giving even a 33% chance for Divya to win, 40% chance. People really have faith in Divya to somehow convert an extra pawn. Shri, now 7 minutes. I think Divya is clearly taking more time. Does time matter here? Do you think like Humpy's 1 minute is a cause of concern?
1 minute is actually a lot of time here for Humpy because a 10 seconds increment, no, it gives you
Hmm.
a lot of time if your position is good. So if Divya is not able to find something that forces Humpy to solve a complex problem, then Humpy has enough time to defend and make a draw here to maintain her fortress. One way for Divya that I'm looking, eventually she has to give up the a pawn one way or another,
Hmm.
but she can, let's say, try and bring the queen to e4 and get a rook to b1. So she has to make one move with the queen to move it away, give a queen e4 check, and then play the rook to b8 and try and get it to b1. But
Hmm.
it requires time, and white has enough time to defend. Humpy also gets a queen forward to make sure that none of
Hmm.
these things happen for the moment.
Yep. And she's played Queen A7. She's offering a queen trade. Do you think Humpy trades here?
Uh, she shouldn't, I think.
Yeah, because then the king can possibly approach and take care of both the weaknesses, even. So Humpy declines the queen trade, and Rakesh Bhai, so far, no clear plan from Divya.
I would
Yeah,
actually
this is
like
looking like
it
more
better
like
for
a drawn out act.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would like it better for white to keep the g2 bishop. Actually, the trade of the bishop itself felt a little bit worrying for me, but seems like Humpy has everything under control for the moment.
Yeah, rook b2 attacks the queen. Queen drops back to d8. And now I think Humpy will put that rook back on a2 ताकि जैसे ही queen ये protection छोड़े pawn का, she can grab that pawn instantly. h5 finally played, but Humpy will probably block that pawn instantly with h4.
Yeah, but as you see, Divya is slowly doing it. Yeah, like h6 first,
Yeah,
then h5. She's just trying to take the game longer. She's trying to take the
yeah,
match longer.
yeah.
Maybe taking a leaf from Gukesh's book.
Yeah, I mean, Gukesh chat में है, तो of course she will take a leaf from his book. Yeah, he's literally there in the chat right now.
Yeah.
Okay, one. Can she defend with 1 versus 6? I think she can. As she mentioned, I think यहाँ पे Humpy doesn't need to make any critical decisions. Just keep playing rook a2, rook a1, queen c5 when allowed to, queen c3 जब trade ना हो रहा हो. And she doesn't need to do anything crazy. I think Divya is the one who has to find some crazy idea here to create chances.
Yeah, but they were keeping the time advantage, yeah, and Humpy taking at least 10 seconds per move, and her time is actually starting to come down a little bit right now, which it's a depressing position to be in white. Although the danger is not that high, but still, psychologically, the fact that your opponent is the one who's clearly trying and you're the
Yeah,
one who's clearly defending, that also sends a statement, and all these things matter in a match.
yep. And Rakesh Bhai sending a statement by disconnecting कि he's like मुझे result चाहिए अबे के अबे. Rakesh Bhai. Muted हो भाई.
BRB. I'll be
Yeah. Yeah, Queen D8. Divya still, I think, moving around. She's not able to find a plan, as she mentioned correctly. She's trying to take it slow, and that's the approach. Let's tire your opponent as much as possible. When she least expects it, that's when you want to strike. But the thing is, how do you strike is the main question. I mean, do you want to go crazy like G5? There is not much happening, unfortunately, because Rook F ke baad, not only is it grabbing the pawn back, it also leads to a bunch of trades. And Khali Queen endgame mein, I mean, yeah, White is not really risking anything at all.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a difficult part for Divya, like how to make progress here. But also for Humpy, she has to keep wondering that, and she knows at some level that there's not much of a chance for Black to make progress. But you can never be
Hmm.
sure. You can never completely switch off and relax. So you're constantly under stress and tension, trying to find
True,
ways
and
for your opponent.
if this pawn goes tree, I think then black is the one who has one weakness, right? Then white will say, okay, I want to push now. So might as well push yourself when you are, having an extra pawn. And see, do you expect Divya to push for the next, let's say, 30, 40 moves? Or do you think in the next 5 to 10 moves, Divya's going to kind of repeat and say, okay, I mean, there's no way to improve?
Somewhere in between, I think, like around
Hmm.
20, 25 moves, she might play,
Hmm.
and then probably not for longer than that. But Yeah, I think it's unlikely to end in the next 5 to 10 moves.
Yeah, yeah,
Looking from Divya's.
या दिव्या टाइम वेस्ट कर सकती है बट टाइम वेस्ट करने से क्या मिलेगा भाई उससे कुछ मिल थोड़ी रहा है हमें एक्स्ट्रा एंड ऑल्सो ड्रॉ के क्या फॉर्मेट है ड्रॉ अगर होगा चैट सो वी हैड टू टाई ब्रेक गेम्स राइट सो बोथ फॉर 15+10 if there's a draw again we're going to have two more games of 10+10 and the time control gets shorter and shorter and shorter वो भी draw हुआ था two games of 5+3 so you can see how the stakes will only get higher and Shri just as a comparison so rapid में I think they feel equally matched right now blitz में
Mhm.
who benefits more Humpy or Divya
I think as the match goes longer, especially after this game, I'm starting to feel the percentages inching more towards Divya.
oh Humpy plays e4 what just happened Shri why did she play e4
Wow. Why? Why is she playing e4? She should just wait. Black had nothing to do. But Sahil, that is the pressure. That is the pressure. When
oh
you're under pressure, you're not quite sure. And you don't want to be in that situation where you're just passively defending.
that is great, but this might cost her the game, Shri. E4, like you are the one pawn down. Unless Humpy feels there's an instant like liquidation into a draw, or she has a potential attack, she should not have played this. And rooks are tied down to stopping this pawn. The lone queen cannot do much. And Divya is now officially better. She's minus zero point 0.8 evaluation.
And if there is a calculation battle,
That is a
Divya
blunder,
certainly
Shri.
is can.
That is a blunder by. Oh my god, Koneru
Oh,
Humpy is lost.
wow.
Queen e5, only
She
move, and
missed
Divya
Queen
finds it.
E5.
Wow.
She
Shri,
missed Queen
what's
E5. I'm sure
happening?
she missed Queen E5.
Wow. Wow, Divya Deshmukh is about to take home the point, Shri. She is going to become a grandmaster.
And the Women's World Cup winner.
Crazy.
Wow, what a turnaround. मतलब it's like वो अपने पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी मुझे वो प्रो याद आ रहा है श्री आई थिंक इट जस्ट फील्स लाइक ही हम्पी had no need to do this.
Absolutely. There's absolutely no need to do it, but also very understandable.
Hmm.
But why, Shri? Like, just sit tight and hold. Like, don't do any pawn breaks.
Wait,
That's
Divya
exactly
also made
what
a
she should
mistake.
have done.
Oh my god, Divya also making a mistake. चल क्या
What?
रहा है? Now Queen C3, Rook A5 is losing the pawn.
Golden
Wow.
opportunity there. Divya blunders back the advantage. The title.
Wow.
Humpy doesn't find it. No, she goes for the E4 pawn.
Yeah, but this is also close to, I think, just to kind of compare chat, the winning move here was the move Rook to D8, just defending the pawn, and it is completely over. But Divya doesn't find it. She has too much faith in Humpy, I feel, Shri.
She should have slowed down a bit. In hindsight, she should have slowed down a bit. But Sahil, I think the mistakes are not quite over so far. There is still a long game to go. I think now
Wow.
that the position has opened up.
Wow, I cannot believe this rook e5. Now e4 pawn जाने वाला है, but very importantly, chat, the a5 pawn might remain on the board for a while, so the game will still not be a draw. I mean, वो dead draw से भी इतना complication हो गया. Shri, you were correct. Anything can happen at any point.
Yeah, especially in a World Cup final, Sahil. Especially in a World Cup final, there will be a lot of mistakes. Both of them are
Wow,
Yeah.
super tired.
And
Rakesh,
yeah,
क्या?
Shri, we remember Rook F2 by Ding Liren that gave Gukesh the title. So I kind of getting that vibes.
Rakesh,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now we are going towards a potential rook in game. Once again, a position where white just has to wait and black will find it very difficult to improve.
and she trades queens. So now
Yeah.
pawn up, rook endgame. In fact, she's followed every principle in the book. Shri rooks behind the pass pawn. एक नहीं दोनों लगा दिए, but still there doesn't seem to be a way easy way to progress at least.
And like I said, Sahil, look, how much time Humpy has gained in the last few moves. Her time
Yeah.
is above 1 minute now. It was down to 40 seconds. But with 10 seconds, you make like 4 5 moves and you almost gain a minute.
Yeah. Very interesting. And of course, if this is a draw, we go to two more games. And Shri, I think the question is, if black were to exchange a pair of rooks, does that help black here?
Yes. If a pair of rooks is exchanged, then I think it massively increases black's chances to win. Because right now, the only plan for black is to bring the king to b6 or b5 and try to dislodge that rook from defending the a pawn. And one
Hmm.
of the rooks is maintaining vigil on a4, the other rook is preventing the black king from coming closer. So,
Yeah.
with one pair of rooks exchanged, you massively increase your chances. And it was in a rook endgame that Divya won in the semifinals as well, right?
Mhm.
I think so, yes. By the way, she's gone for rook f5. But if Humpy does take, this is not exactly the same, right, Rakesh? Because the structure will be damaged now. Because now, if rook takes, pawn takes, like this is much easier for the white king to just come up and grab all these pawns.
Yeah, absolutely. And the black king would love to come to b5 and kick this rook away, but it is so far away that will give Kampi enough time, enough counterplay on the king side.
In fact, white can
Yeah,
sometimes win
but
these endgames. I've seen some
Yeah,
examples. Yeah,
in
Shri.
your games probably.
In
taking
my games.
decision. But
Yeah, Shri.
Sahil, it's also clever of Divya to pose these questions to Humpy and make her take decisions rather than
Hmm.
just let her wait.
Hmm.
She's
Hmm.
asking Humpy to calculate, make a choice, rook into f5 or keep the rooks.
Hmm. That's a great point, actually. And now Humpy has 30 seconds. We are in a rook endgame. एक famous GM ने कहा है all rook endgames are drawn, but will this one will be a draw, Shri? Uh, what percentage chances would you give Divya now in this position?
Uh, I I think it's still pretty low, but I would increase it to 15 from the 5 that I
Hmm.
previously had. But still, I think it's massive chances for a draw.
Yeah, yeah. चैट करिए साहिल विल लूज दिस फ्रॉम बोथ कलर्स भाई ठीक है भाई तो मैं थोड़ी खेल रहा हूँ इस वर्ल्ड कप भाई मैं व्हाई डू आई कैच ट्रेस फॉर नो रीजन ये क्या था
But notice chat and Sri how he didn't deny it. He's not
अरे
saying
भाई
that it's.
डिनाई क्या होता है नहीं
But
भाई
Sri,
मैं तो
coming back,
हाँ
any chance, like percentage of chances for Divya to convert this?
Yeah, like I said, around 10 to 15%. It's pretty low actually,
हम्म
Okay. Mhm.
but it's not impossible. Again, one small mistake, it's still one extra pawn. And typically, she will give up one pawn, take another pawn, and the white king is a bit away from her kingside pawns. Humpy has just 30 seconds. So it's very possible. It's very possible to win from here.
yeah and oh king is moving to d5 oh f4 wow she
Divya
un-
turning on the heat, putting Humpy in a blender, asking her questions.
oh
Yeah, again, you have to make a choice, and you have three choices. Either you
yeah
can take with the rook, you can take with the pawn, or none of the above.
oh she
Oh,
takes the
Rook
rook
A4.
she
The
takes
pawn
with the
starts
rook
running.
A4, right? The pawn can run. I don't know if. Oh, there's a
It's a
blunder.
blunder. Divya is winning. What a massive blunder there. Divya is completely winning chat.
Oh my God, what just happened? 15% का 100% हो गया, Shri. That is insane.
Brilliant, brilliant play by Divya. Amazing choices. Rook f5, f4, all the moves putting pressure on Humpy, and very understandably, Humpy making these mistakes under both time pressure and pressure on the board.
Yeah, king
Uh,
coming in will attack those pawns. Pawn on A2, rook will be stuck. Srinath, this is completely over, right?
Yeah, I think from here Divya is a massive favorite. She's a 85%, 90% winning, and just 10% for Humpy to try and save the game. The pawn goes to A2, and very easy path for Divya. Just take all these kingside pawns, give up the A2 pawn.
Yeah, Rook A3 is winning. A2, Rook A1, Rook A3. She is gonna grab all these three pawns. The king is not even here कि F and H pawn वाला कोई draw का chance. So this is completely over if Divya executes it well, and she will be potentially the World Cup winner, gold medal. She will go to the candidates and will get the GM title. Srinath, what could this mean for Divya if she ends up winning?
Will be a huge confidence boost. I think massive relief. She has got it off her back, the GM title, and yeah, a massive confidence boost. And I think she has incredible potential to eventually reach all the way to become a world champion.
And
Wow, and
A2
she,
played. Can we go full
wow.
screen, Sahil, if
Yeah,
possible, because
Let's go
now to
full
get the
screen.
emotions.
A2 played, Rook A1, and Rook, जो literally warriors है मतलब, they're supposed to be active, and Rook A3 on the board, and Humpy is
Wow.
struggling. What a move that F4. Srinath, you summed it up so well, right? Ki she's making Humpy make uncomfortable choices in time pressure, and the time did matter at the end, Rakesh.
Absolutely. She plays F6. She's very nicely, just putting Humpy in more pressure. Next up, Rook will capture the pawn. All the pawns on the king side will be gone for white, and Divya will be looking to push these two pawns home.
The
Wow.
White King is isolated completely from those pawns.
Yeah.
Yeah, and oh my God, Koneru Humpy making a big blunder.
He's
But
feeling the
chat,
pressure now.
yeah, and somehow I think like overall both players make it to the candidates. I don't think any would be super disappointed, right? Because they are going to the candidates, and the fact that दो Indians खेल रहे हैं in the World Cup, like कितनी बड़ी चीज है Indian chess के लिए history.
Yeah, incredible domination across all categories.
Rook A4, so she's
Olympiad
basically
win.
she didn't take the pawn.
Trying to
She
push the
is taking the
king
game as
further.
long as she can.
True. King D6, Rook A3, maybe that's her plan. Rook A4 फिलहाल.
King D6, maybe she'll do Rook A5.
She's just want to she's want to keep going, yeah. Yeah, she does Rook
Yeah, the
A5.
idea is to try and maybe take the king to take the pawns instead of taking the rook, so that the A2 pawn is never lost. So now maybe she wants to do king E5 and try and get the king to E3, so that the king takes all the
Ah,
pawns instead of the rook.
Rook A6, King F7, Rook check, pushing the king literally to the back rank, bhai. I never thought of that plan.
Oh man, that is tough.
I think now it's time for Rook. Oh, King E5 first. Nice.
Yeah, the king is going to capture the king side pawns, and she doesn't want to give up the A2 pawn, because sometimes with the F and H pawn there is a chance. There's a chance sometimes that
Oh,
of a draw.
G4.
So Humpy
Humpy.
tries to get some counterplay.
Yeah, she's getting a passed pawn. I think exchanges one pair of pawns as well. But the thing is, see, I think somehow the black king is very well placed. What if you just take, and just go King F4? You grab these pawns, it should be game over, right? Takes, and King F4.
Yes, yes, that should be game over.
We are having one
Oh
minute on the
man.
clock. She needs
Humpy,
to
I think
play.
G4 is like a last ditch effort, right? Just trying to
Yeah.
complicate matters.
Oh, she gives a check. That's not the best move, apparently. King C6 for Humpy.
Tree, any chance Divya messes this up or it's over?
Oh,
There
Edge
is
G4 is no
always a
longer
chance.
winning. Edge G4 is no longer winning for Divya, I think.
Oh my God.
Oh my god. Oh my god. F5 is the winning move now.
That
Divya,
is crazy.
I cannot believe it. Divya का
that's the
plan जो
beauty of chess, the beauty of live sport. Divya has to fight pawn to F5.
or rook 8, or she has to not commit to anything, something like rook 8. She cannot take the pawn. This is the problem with being too safe. Divya was trying to be too safe, did not want to calculate. She plays king f4. That's a draw after gh5.
Oh my God, she loses it. Humpy has to fight Oh my God!
Oh my God, I cannot believe what's happening.
Shri, in fact, this looks maybe some chances for white.
Wow. How does white
Wait,
have chances
wait.
though?
King d5 only move. King d5 only move for Humpy now. She has to play King d5. Everything is still lost. Oh my God, S6 Divya's again winning. What is happening?
She's winning again.
But King e4 only
No!
with 4 blunders from Divya now. Oh my God, what's happening?
Craziest end to a chess game.
Hi.
Crazy.
And
The
now
whole
King
point
d5
was
only move. King d5 only move again. Let's go full scale. Let's go. Oh, she finds it. She finds it.
She finds it. Humpy OP. Come on, can she find the win?
And now
she
it's
has
a
to bring the king.
But now it's a draw. Now it's a dead draw, chat. It is a draw. The H pawn is enough. King e5 only move for Humpy. Oh, she
H7,
blunders
Divya's winning
again.
again.
Oh my God.
Rook into
चल
H7
क्या
and
रहा
Divya
है
is
भाई?
completely winning. Divya is winning, chat. Wow.
Now things are getting clearer. Now things are getting
Yeah.
clearer because
Yeah.
it's much easier with the lone pawn to try and calculate. It's a known position. And the entire problem
Wow.
is the white king is away. The white king needs to be on f1. It's
Yeah.
too far away. And there's no way for the white king to come all the way to f1.
Oh my God,
Wow.
what? Rook goes behind the pawn. It's too little, too late though.
Wow. What a game. This has promised to be an absolute treat. My throat is gone, but oh, what a game, Shri. What a game, Rakesh.
Yeah, and it's
Absolutely.
pressure, Rook G8. And it's like Divya building her bridge for her title. The Lucena position might be coming in.
And this is now over, I think. Now this is
Yeah.
good.
Now
Yeah,
it's a
Shri?
very straightforward way.
Yeah.
I think with resignation incoming, we'll try to go full screen to get the emotions of the players. F2, Srinath, this is completely over.
It is. It is completely over. A
And
Divya
massive.
realizes it. Sahil, look at Divya's expressions.
yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Divya Deshmukh has won and she's crying at the board. She cannot believe
Oh
what
my
just happened.
God.
She is the World Cup winner. What an achievement for a 19-year-old Divya Deshmukh there.
Oh my God, Divya Deshmukh becomes a grandmaster, is congratulated by the FIDE president Arkady Dvorkovich. Divya, look at her emotions. Divya OP rukna nahi chahiye. She does the Prague celebration, sips some water, and she's winning. She is completely, she's so emotional.
Wow.
I think she's looking for her mother, Sahil. I feel who has been in Batumi there throughout the event. Oh my
Wow.
God. Wow. And the lucky banana stays on the table, Sahil.
Absolutely. It is a lucky banana, bhai. I think if nobody wants it, can I just go and grab it jaldi se?
But
मैं भी थोड़ा
Divya
waiting.
Deshmukh has won it. Koneru Humpy, hard luck, but it's youth who triumphs over experience, Srinath.
Wow. Wow.
Absolutely,
Wow.
and a completely well-deserved win for Divya. I think she played an amazing game. Right from the opening, she put pressure on Humpy and she never let it go.
Wow. And iska matlab chat, the FIDE Women's World Cup is actually over, and it is an Indian who's won gold. It is an Indian who's won silver. Hard luck to Humpy, but the good news is both of them have qualified to the candidates, and there it is. Divya Deshmukh is the winner. We have an 18-year-old world champion, Gukesh, who won the world championship last year. He's 19 now, and so is Divya Deshmukh, who's the youngest ever winner of the FIDE Women's World Cup. And this is happening right in front of your eyes. History बन रही है श्री हमारे सामने.
And Sahil, what a time to celebrate this win with the five-time world champion Vishy Anand. Sir, welcome to the stream and your thoughts on this epic final clash and Divya's win.
I mean, historic moment, obviously. One more Grandmaster. And I'm still surprised, but it happens. Humpy just collapsed. I'm in a position where she just has to repeat two moves and make a draw. I'm not quite sure what causes someone to play e4 and d5. But at the same time, these things are common when you don't think clearly under such pressure, and I think her nerves got to her. But after that, I think Divya hauled it in the point in very coolly.
So, what does this mean for Indian chess that both the finalists were Indian? And also, what does this mean for Divya winning this event at the age of 19?
I think for her, it'll give her a lot of confidence. It's a moment she'll remember all her life, and it'll motivate her for all the coming events, especially the candidates.
Yeah, that is insane. And so, does it make you happy to see both Indians in the finals? Like, I mean, it was such a strong, star-studded field. We have an India versus India final, and we could have who knows a women world champion is also Indian. Like, it's such a proud moment for Indian chess, sir.
Yes, that was a very nice alignment, and somehow we got both generations. We got Humpy really showing fantastic resilience, and also we have on the other end Divya making history also for herself. Everything she's doing for the first time, and it was nice to have this span, I think, represented there.
Wow, it was amazing. And sir, going forward, Divya has won gold. If you give her one advice on maybe, on her path forward as she tries to achieve glory.
I think she's doing fine without any advice. Just be herself.
And which is so we have like Gukesh as a world champion, Indian team gold, Indian women's team gold. Where do you see like what's going to happen next for Indian chess?
I'm looking forward to something. I don't know. Hopefully, the next candidates will be a big step. The women's that one of our women win it. Um, that would be one. But I think it's been a while, and but now our women are catching up. The men have had head start for a couple of years of these really superb results, and now the women are catching up. Maybe the fact that they both won the Olympiad, and now we're getting uh, a lot of excitement in the women's game. I hope that continues and motivates lots of girls to take part in chess as well.
And we saw Divya there, so like super happy. She's smiling, and we saw Gokesh also have that moment, and she's shaking her head. She can't believe what just happened. And so, like, I mean, nerves matter at the end. Like, and Divya kind of proved how well she handled them. And what is the best way to handle nerves in such cases? In these crunch moments.
Um, I don't know. Honestly, when you don't feel nerves, then it's very easy to explain all the things you should do, but they never work when you're there. So that's always the problem. I mean, when you're there, you forget everything. I'm sure Humpy knows what she should not have done, and she must be as amazed as anyone else. How could all these moves happen? Who made them? That must be her feeling.
Wow. What a moment for Indian chess and chat. I mean, we should have Divya open the chat. And if you have any questions for Vishy sir, do let us know. And so, what's next for you? Where you headed next in terms of, commentary or, yeah?
Nothing much. Actually, my work finished early. I was getting worried about the next tiebreak game, but my work finished early. Probably you as well. But
Yeah, and so you're also the part of the FIDE team. Do you have any updates for us on the World Cup in India in November?
yes, it'll be India in November, but I can't. I can't announce something before they do. So I kind of know uh, the way the wheels are turning, but I think it's best to leave the final announcement. I mean, you will hear it as soon as it's ready.
Nice. So that means it's close, so maybe. Might hear it
Pretty much.
soon.
And Srinath, you have been working with Divya in the past, and you've seen her progress overall. What do you think? What does this win mean for Divya's career?
I think Vishy summed everything up, the confidence she gets and the motivation she gets. And I think this tournament she has really dominated. None of the matches went past 4 games, whilst everyone else had to, go through some long tie breaks. Divya won a lot of her matches in regulation time, and very few matches went to the tie break, 2 or 3 matches. and those matches also ended up in just 4 games. So
Yeah.
I think she has, in a way, been a very convincing winner of this World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Chad, I think thank you all for joining us for this moment. It's been iconic. And thanks a lot to FIDE for providing us the cams for this moment. I mean, seeing
Yeah.
Divya with those tears in her eyes is such an amazing moment, right? I mean, you would have missed it. Vishisa, we really, really want to thank you for your time and hope you have an amazing day ahead. I think it's all thanks to you that Indian chess has reached here, right? You have been the role model for each of these players. And that's so amazing. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you very much, Al. And congrats to everyone. It's a triumph for all of us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vishi sir. Thank you, Shri. Thank you, Rakesh. Thank you, Samay, for having an amazing broadcast. It's been amazing. And congrats to Divya and Humpy as well, because we'll be seeing them in the candidates. And who knows, we might have an Indian world champion. Thank you, chat. Have a good day. Bye bye. Take care.
We don't look back.